shaking and baking in that thing.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, July 24th, 2014. Time for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 637.
This is No Agenda.
Playing with my instruments again here at the South Boston Safe House in FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where I'm much less enthusiastic, but I'm still here, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
Okay, what is it?
Nothing. I just said you were very enthusiastic. You play a little Freddie Mercury, and the next thing you know, you're all jacked up.
Actually, I played 8 Beatles tracks on the pre-stream today.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's why. That's why I got all jacked up. That's some good stuff.
Yeah, well,
you never were a Beatles fan, were you?
I was always a Beatles fan. I was an original Beatles fan. When I was in school, when the Beatles first showed up, I was a huge Beatles fan. And I went through the whole Beatles thing. I got all their albums as they came out. When they came out, I bought one.
Let me ask you something.
And I got sick of them after all these years.
But I think I'm a second generation Beatles fan.
I was a first generation's Beatles fan, huge Beatles fan.
I came in on the Red and the Blue albums. You remember those, the double albums, which is kind of like compilations?
I don't even remember those.
Now, here, of course, is the obvious question. John or Paul?
What about John or Paul? So I thought that here's what my thinking was. I thought both of them worked together great as a team. You're a big team guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought they only worked together as a team, even though much of their, with the best material was written probably by John and tempered by Paul, or written by Paul and tempered by John, or beefed up by John. He was the more radical of the two in terms of the songwriting, as opposed to just the simple love songs.
Right.
But if it wasn't for Paul, the band wouldn't exist.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. But Paul's solo has always been very difficult for me. But I can't go to a Paul McCartney show and get really enthusiastic.
I thought his solos during the Beatles era were a little sappy.
Yeah, and the whole Wings thing and all. In fact, wasn't it? I think it was Wings was the first time we had an isolated microphone prank or gag that circled around radio stations. And it was of Linda. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. You can tell me about
it. So he was on the tour out on the road with Wings, and Linda, and everyone was like, Linda has to play tambourine and sing backup. Oh, really? Oh, really? And they ISO'd her microphone, or at least that was what they said it was.
Oh, I vaguely remember this.
Yeah, and it was really, really horribly off key.
Yeah, I think you could do, I remember that. But everybody believed, at least here in the United States, that
it's a great gag. It's a great gag.
Yeah, but everyone also believed it was kind of messed with. It was.
Of course it was. Of course.
It was tweaked.
Of course. But anyway, I just, I played like 8 different songs. Here's what I played, I'll tell you. And you kind of amazed when you just hear these songs. I played We Can Work It Out, 8 Days a Week, Come Together, Hello, Goodbye, Help, Revolution, In My Life. I mean, come on, these are great songs.
Huh. It figures you'd play those.
What does that mean?
Those are not the good ones.
I'm a hit-driven boy.
Those aren't the big hits. Why don't you play No Agenda type Beatles songs like The Tax Man? There's a good tune.
Now we've played that a lot. Okay, that's one. You got one No Agenda tune, right?
I'm sure there's others. I'm not going to sit here and talk Beatles.
Revolution is not a No Agenda song?
I don't think so.
No, okay. All right then.
It's a corny... That's the example of Lennon's cornball material.
Well, there you go. Cornball or us here in Austin.
Hey, talking about that, I didn't get hold on a second. I got to get, here's an interesting story that's kind of Texas related, at least at the punchline's Texas.
Mm-hmm.
I never heard of this. This is called coaling or something like, you heard of this? This is something I think the French dreamed up or somebody spoofed them, or maybe I'm wrong. And maybe some Texans can chime in and say, oh, you're completely out of it, Dvorak. That's what old age does. Play this clip from France 24 that's called coaling or something.
We see here isn't about to give up the ghost. Its owner is coal rolling, deliberately revving a modified engine to full power in order to spew thick black smoke from the exhaust. Coal rollers say they're protesting against environmental measures introduced by the Obama administration, and their exploits have gone viral. But a growing number of owners of these tampered-with trucks are blowing their smoke at other motorists, cyclists and pedestrians and posting the video to YouTube, much to the outrage of countless social networkers.
All right, we'll just stand by.
Coal rolling victims have been sharing accounts online, and while the majority of web users condemn the practice, describing it as extremely stupid, others say it's not a new craze and unfortunately has been around in the southern US for quite some years.
I don't think I've ever heard of this, John.
I've never heard of it either. I think the
Coal-
French have been
coal
pranked.
rollers.
But play it out because there's a
Okay,
punchline
all right.
here.
The US Environmental Protection Agency has posted a
got
message
it.
to its website
There you go.
reminding citizens it is in fact illegal to tamper with or remove emission control devices from vehicles. But as journalist Dylan Badur points out, not every state respects this law, singling out Texas in particular, which doesn't require emissions testings for diesel engines, and where there
okay.
are a lot of coal rollers.
By the way, how can you watch that crap on France 24 with that hokey ass shitty production music? It's annoying.
It is annoying. I didn't say it wasn't annoying.
So
but I
this-
watched
so this
it.
is
It's got
clearly-
material like that. That's why I do it.
right,
That's
so-
a great story. I've never heard of this. Is anybody? We have a lot of Texas listeners. A lot. Somebody feed back to us that this is actually something that goes on.
I've been here for almost 3 years. I've never heard of this. This is nuts.
Yeah, I've never heard of it. I'm in car country, California.
But it sounds like a slam against Texas not
could be.
not having restrictions on diesel or something.
Possible.
EPA stuff.
Possible.
Yeah, the EPA. I'm not allowed to talk about it. I'm sorry.
We're not. It's not part of the show.
No, but
I just thought this was a prank. It was played on France 24, and I could be wrong. But this is not a phenomenon.
Not that I'm aware of. No, not that I'm aware of. But then again, I don't get out much.
You get out enough.
Not really.
And you'd be getting it off the local news if it was going on.
I don't even watch local news.
Well, you're pathetic.
Well, thanks, buddy.
You're supposed to be keeping up with Texas culture while you're there
I'm doing my best.
before you move to your next location.
I got a Facebook message from your wife.
Oh no!
You guys move more than my dog moves his bowels.
What?
Yeah, exactly. You need
All about you moving.
Yeah, she's got to work on her material,
and that
man.
was her joke.
Public. She said that in public, or at least on the Facebooks.
And she doesn't have a dog. She's got like 5.
And another cat died. Everyone's dying up there, man. Please don't go up there for a while.
Died.
I don't know the old one.
You talking about Zoe?
Yeah, I think it was Zoe.
Oh, Zoe. Yeah, she's been down her last legs for a while.
Well, she's gone. Just so you know, sorry to inform you, but she's gone.
No, I know that. Everyone knows Zoe's dead. Known fact on the West Coast, unlike your coal rolling story.
I had no idea.
On the best podcast in the universe.
That's right. I was unaware. I'm sorry. Now we're all up to speed on the Dvorak Zoo. My goodness. My goodness. Well,
I think that the next one that goes going to be the donkey.
okay, please don't tell me there's actually a donkey up there. Wouldn't surprise.
No, it's actually a burro.
Okay, of course. Yeah. Well, of course, I paid. It was quite interesting and in many ways very strange to see CNN pretty much spend the entire day yesterday live from the Netherlands with, I thought, just the most inappropriate commentary from Anderson Pooper and the dildo in my boot, rope around my testicles guy. I'm getting a little tired of seeing Richard Quest as the aviation expert on CNN.
I don't know how he became one.
He
used to be the goofball reporter from Europe.
Yeah, he was the goofball business guy. He would do trips and do stand-up. But I know what happened because he was traveling on airlines so much that he got to know a little bit about what's going on. And because I met him once
Hey, just because you travel on airlines a lot doesn't make it.
That's it. I'm telling you. That's why he's the aviation expert.
Think about this. Here's a point. If you remember you're still old enough to remember the early days of like the Apple II and then the S100. When the early computers came out, when everyone was deciding to get it, when businesses were deciding to get a computer, they'd find someone in the office who owned an Apple II, didn't know anything about computers, and now they're the expert.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They were promoted to computer expert because they owned an Apple II.
And typically,
dude named Ben.
His name was Ben.
They could be.
Yeah.
That's where it started.
Well, I remember at MTV when I first arrived in 1980s, end of 86, 87, then I had a Mac Plus and I was on The Source and Prodigy.
Ooh, Source.
Yeah, remember The Source?
The Mac, was The Source still in business when the Mac came out?
Vienna Online was the precursor to AOL. And I was on that, and then this is where I got my first Slip account and learned how to get on the
Slip account.
learned how to telnet into my shell and fire up a Gopher session. But at MTV, they were using a Wang system.
It's the word processor more than anything. But
well, it had a central processor, which was typically when someone said Wang, it was followed by is down. That was the Wang is down. But all they do is they'd print out big uppercase letters for the teleprompter, which I know we've talked about it before, but it's fun to mention it, which was a conveyor belt with a camera hovered over it that a guy literally fed pieces of paper with printed text that was then displayed in the teleprompter. The good old days.
Boy, that's pathetic, yeah.
Well, lower thirds, you had a lower third camera. Do you remember that? You had a title card is what it was called. They still call it a title card in the digital world. I think if you look at the new switchers like the TriCaster, it's still called a title card, and it's a black card and it has the graphics imprinted on it or sometimes hand drawn, and they'd put that under a title camera, and that would be superimposed lower third, and that was how you brought in lower third graphics. Hell yeah!
Well, those days are over.
Yeah, but it's fun to reminisce a little bit. You're right, it's not. Okay, so
no, it is. I mean, I think it's interesting. I think people are interested in these old. You might as well like Mickey Rooney. He'd be good with these stories.
And look where it got him.
Go on.
He's dead.
So what was your point?
Well, no, I was just going to say that it was very interesting because I have grown up in the Netherlands. I know the Netherlands very well. To see the coverage here in the United States, to see just about everybody we know, and that's why I was cruising through the social media, which is my version of admitting that I have a Facebook account. And everyone had to indeed change their icon to a black ribbon with never forget MH17 or something, and there was a national day of mourning.
And then they had a military ceremony. Were these people military?
No, this is so what has happened here is the distraction was so well orchestrated, so well done that everyone was only focused on the deceased and not at all about what happened, how it happened, the political ramifications, the geopolitical ramifications. And the truth really is not being reported at all in the Netherlands, which we'll get to in a moment. The truth about the 400-year special relationship and the 400-year friendship between Russia and the Netherlands. But a lot of things have come out that I think are very important to discuss. First, just to add on to our analysis of the radar spoofing. So now we have received reports everywhere that there was a Ukrainian Su-25 fighter within 5 kilometers behind the aircraft. And it was kind of interesting because someone sent me an email and said, this is bull crap. Look at the stats. It only has a ceiling of 28,000 feet. So it couldn't be up 33,000 feet.
What? A 777?
No. The Su-25, the Ukrainian jet, the fighter jet.
What?
Yeah.
That's nonsense.
No, it's not nonsense.
It only goes to 25,000 feet, this jet?
Hold on a second. This is where people make the mistake between a ceiling and max operating altitude. There's two different things. So the ceiling is where that limit kicks in, where the aircraft will not increase altitude at least 100 feet per minute. And yeah, with these smaller wings and stuff, absolutely. Have you seen the Su-25? It kind of looks like someone put it together in their garage. I mean, it's not a great looking aircraft. It's been around for a long time, but it has, and this is what really nailed it for me. It has a max operating altitude of 33,000 feet. And when you take into account that the Ukraine air traffic controller requested MH17 descend from 3,500 to
35,000
to 33,000, which is just at the top of the range for the radar spoofing, it kind of adds to the analysis.
What controller was this?
Ukrainian. I mean, well, it's you can see it on all of the flight data tracking that it was at 35,000 and descended to 33. And that's why it was at 33, because that's the max operating ceiling of the Su-25. Yeah, exactly. But I think that we're done with the analysis.
I don't think there's much more to say. I do have a couple of things to add in terms of what else is kind of fishy about the whole thing. Well, and why the flight may have been chosen.
Sure. I have a number of things as well, but let
me do a couple of things here. First of all, I want to get back to the point that we've made a number of times, which is that it's important to the United States to maintain the world's currency.
Correct. Which is the reserve currency, which all necessary things are.
This allows us to have huge debts that we don't have to worry about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it keeps the economy. Most of the world's in a pretty bad depression, and we're muddling through okay.
Yeah,
largely because of the debt.
Just getting by.
We're getting by. And so when people, and we've noticed this before, one of the themes of the show is actually when somebody threatens to
go off,
bypass or do something about the world currency, which has been now done, as we reported, by BRICS. Russia, the BRICS.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go after these guys like they did with Gaddafi. Gaddafi was everybody's buddy, meetings and everything was going on, and then he decides to come with some gold.
Everybody was in his tent. Everybody was hanging out. And then he said, let's do a gold dinar for all of Northern Africa. And that didn't sit well. But we can go back to 2003, Saddam Hussein, who wanted to sell oil in, I think it was euros.
So you would have this situation. So the Russians, and this is the whole idea of Russia going after Russia for its involvement in this. We can't have that. And this is very important that we send the message to everybody. And one of the things we have to do is get Europe to help us pull this off, even though they're very reluctant to do so. So what country would be the one that would be the hardest to get over? Because you think Germany's got a strong connection.
No, it would be the Netherlands, who, after China, is the number one business partner of Russia.
Yes, a lot of people don't realize that. So play the Holland and Russia clip, and then we'll go on. And I got one other little kicker.
Yeah, well, you're leading me right into my analysis.
Yes, I'm sure I am.
Now, some EU meetings going on today about fresh sanctions that could be imposed on Russia.
That's right. There's been criticisms that Brussels has been sparing Moscow from tougher sanctions for the sake of economic ties. Now, let's look at three key economies in Europe and how their trade has changed with Russia since 1999. Germany's main exports to Russia are cars, trains, and medicine, while about a third of its oil and gas comes from Russia. And there are about 6,000 German companies registered in Russia, and together they've invested 20 billion euros in recent years. So Germany may be one of Europe's most influential countries, and the fact that it's roughly 3 times more tied to Russia than the UK may explain why Britain's been more aggressive in pushing sanctions. As we can see, the UK principal export is cars, but it's very low in terms of overall imports. And it's also the largest export coming from Russia is oil and gas. Now, meanwhile, another country to look at is the Netherlands. The Dutch government is under enormous pressure to take a tough stance since 193 of its citizens were on board flight MH17. But we can see it has become Europe's largest recipient of Russian exports, while it sends exports to Russia, such as agriculture, mainly flowers, and also technology. So we can see some of the things binding these economies to Russia, limiting and changing the debate about what sanctions they could take against the country.
All right, allow me to jump in here. The Netherlands is the largest importer, but also simultaneously the exporter. You see, the Netherlands
largest exporter in EU.
Yes, because the Netherlands, all they are is a storage point, and there's two spots, and it is all these dealings are with Russia. So one is Russian oil, which is shipped down to the port of Rotterdam, which has the 24-meter depth that you need to really do the big deep water loading of oil tankers, which are then subsequently sent off to China. And then you have the gas storage, which is in the northern part of the Netherlands. You know where they have all these earthquakes all the time? So they store Gazprom gas up under the ground in the Gasunie. So this actually started like 10 or 15 years ago, when they knew they were going to run out of gas up there, and they said, let's start doing some business with Russia, and we'll store all of that gas underneath, in our old reserve spot. Now, add to that, the Netherlands is, of course, known for the Dutch reach around, which I've always enjoyed, which is the tax haven that it is. And this is why you have Apple and Amazon and eBay and Microsoft, and everybody has their BVs or their NVs often in the Netherlands. And the banks there have just one Gazprom account is estimated at 54 billion euros. Now, that is not the only reason why the Netherlands is attractive. And I have talked about this, about the legal system, where the judges are professional judges. These are not appointed by the president or anything like that. And you also have substitute judges, which are typically lawyers from a law firm which you can hire. And I have been in court several times in the Netherlands, and it's very disconcerting and very sad when you see that someone can hire a very high-profile law firm who one of their lawyers may be a substitute judge sitting on the bench, and I'm pretty sure it's a very, very, very corrupt system. But there's a famous case which took place also 15 years ago of a Russian oligarch who in Russia was essentially said, well, we're going to seize all your assets in the Netherlands. We're going to throw you in jail. And the Dutch court overturned that and gave the guy safe haven and gave him all his money in the Netherlands. So all the Russians were like, this is the place to be. We can buy these guys off. And this is almost not known that this is what's going on. I don't think the population really realizes it. And this is why there are all these closed door meetings, and the government is freaking out because the elites of the Netherlands, they are all, and the Dutch state owns at least 50% of all of this oil and gas business. And the other 50% is all the asshole buddies of the politicians who go right into the politicians come in, they go right, they're on the boards of all these companies. It's a huge setup. It's all about the oil and gas. And the Netherlands itself, actually, some reports say they lose money on this importing and exporting because all they're really doing is just passing the gas and the oil on. But everybody in the middle, all the people running the ships and storing the gas and digging trenches and dredging and all this business, they are making billions, and no one wants to upset the apple cart. And this is well known by, certainly the United States. And then there's one other thing, and then I'll shut up and you can get to your next clip. There has been a call from the European Union, particularly from our guy Juncker, to create an energy union. So we have a monetary union. We're trying to pull together a political union. Now they want a monetary union, an energy union, which would combine the European purchasing power of particularly gas and oil from Russia at one set price. Because now you have every country pays a different price for different reasons. Well, guess which countries really don't want to do that? That would be Germany and the Netherlands. Germany, who has the Nord Stream pipeline, with a third of their energy comes in from Russia through their own pipeline straight into Germany, and then down through Germany on the Opal pipeline. And the Netherlands, they don't want to lose money. They don't want to be negotiated down. So this was a huge fucking message.
Well, the message apparently could have gone even further. with this little tidbit. And again, Russia claims there's the CIA behind this whole thing, and I don't know. There's so many intelligence agencies; it could be anybody. But it's beside the point. If you wanted to send a message, you could send one by finding a way to bring down one of these planes, whether it was in conjunction with the Ukrainians, which is our thesis, or not. And whether we had anything to do with it is you can't prove it, but it's suspicious. And there was one very little tidbit that came up on the press conference with Harf.
I have a clip from this as well. Yeah, okay.
I have a bunch of clips from this press conference, the most recent one. But this one here was the interesting one that was like, you want to send a message to the people that are in the BRIC organization trying to screw the USA out of its reserve currency status. You might want to bring a plane down, but make it clear that there was other possibilities and play the question about Indian Air.
Sorry. Here we go. I did not have that one ready. Yep.
India. On Ukraine itself.
On Ukraine? On Ukraine.
Based on the intelligence information that you released yesterday and what you have been saying today, it looks like it was a case of mistaken identity by the Ukrainian separatists that hit the Malaysian plane.
That's not what they said at all.
That's what you are concluding, right?
No, that's not what I said either. I said we don't know yet the intentions of the people who fired the SA-11 from the pro-Russian separatist-controlled territory. We just don't know what their intentions are.
So my question
they may have been targeting a civilian airliner. They may have been targeting a Ukrainian fighter jet, which they've done over a dozen times now. Either way, they're clearly trying to kill people with an SA-11.
So when the Malaysian Airlines was passing through that part, there were some other passenger planes which were crossing that area, including one of Air India, which was around 25 miles away from the Malaysian planes, and then plane carrying Indian Prime Minister was passed around 1 hour before that.
I hadn't heard that.
I hadn't heard
do you
that.
know from intelligence information that any of these planes could have been a target or could have been hit by this missiles here?
I haven't heard that.
Can you check?
I can check. I haven't heard.
And by the way, I'd like to stand up for Marie Harf here and say it's a little unfair that whenever their story is off and they got no facts, that they throw her out there. I mean, that's not fair.
Well, there's more to it, I think, than that. I don't want to go off the track here, but I want to play one more clip.
Wait, can I just jump in on the Indian Air thing?
Yeah.
I have a document here from the European Cockpit Association. Intelligence services knew that flying over Ukraine was dangerous. A small number of countries I'm reading directly from the document, already knew about the risks of a missile attack over eastern Ukraine before the 17th of July, but kept this information to themselves and only told their own airline companies, according to Nico Forbach, the chairman of the European Cockpit Association, that is the European Pilots Association. According to the ECA, airline companies in the U.S., Scandinavia, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia were, quote, warned of the fact they should they fly over this region, no matter at what altitude, their planes could be target of acts of war. But this was not shared with KLM or Malaysia Airlines or others.
Which I would assume is Indian Air, with the Prime Minister on board.
Yes.
That would have been interesting.
Yes.
But if that's not if you're the Prime Minister, this looks like a warning shot across the bow.
I'd say.
And so now, and you're in on the Indian, you're in on this BRIC thing that should drop. These guys are going to get, this is not going to end until they drop this idea of starting at their own reserve currency. And the Chinese can go on their own as far as I'm concerned. It's just, this is not going to end until. But you brought up, I just wanted to say, you brought up Harf.
Yes.
I thought it was weird that Harf was out there now, too. And then I heard this question, which was, again, from, I think, a guy from Turkey.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And this is the WTF Jen Psaki question that, to me, said more than the answer told me.
Says to reporters that the Secretary Kerry expressed his uneasiness about spokesperson Jen Psaki's...
Totally false.
Totally false.
Yeah. Secretary stands behind everything Jen Psaki and hopefully I say from this podium,
okay.
Particularly on this topic.
I mean, you can understand or puzzlement that on the one hand you say that the Secretary Kerry tells Foreign Minister Davutoğlu and raised his worries, concerns over some rhetoric used in Turkey. And then on the other hand, we hear from Turkish foreign minister that actually Secretary Kerry expressed his uneasiness.
I just said it was false, and I am the one who speaks for Secretary Kerry and conveys his thoughts, and I can assure you that is not something he said.
Okay.
So Psaki said something, and apparently Kerry, being the dick that he is, mentioned this to somebody in Turkey, one of the foreign ministers, and he reported it to the newspaper, and now they're denying it. And Psaki's out for the moment, and this woman Harf is in. I don't think it has anything to do with it during the tough questioning. I think they've sidelined Psaki. They've benched her
out. Could be. She's made a couple of mistakes that were not so great. But she was in Vienna doing the talks there, covering that. She's trying to move up. She's trying to be the next Noodleman. Now, I will say that it looks like all eyes should be on Turkey right now, big time, because the alternative to I kind of looked at the BCMs, the billions of cubic meters and stuff of oil, and we don't even have to look at Ukraine anymore, John. It's over. It's just done and over. Now you only have to look at really three different routes. And I wasn't aware that the Nord Stream went right into Germany. Germany is a direct recipient of Russian gas. Direct recipient. It doesn't go through it. This is the one that goes off the coast. They had to kill the whole.
Nord Stream is the one way up there. So yeah, right. It's just off the coast. It's underwater, I think.
Yeah, and they had to kill the whole Polish government so they'd shut up about it. Because they didn't actually participate. They ran the pipeline outside of Poland in the water.
Yeah.
So they had to kill them.
That's where I think most of the gas goes through that thing.
Yes, exactly. And I have the numbers here. But the big thing now is the Trans-Adriatic pipeline. That needs to be completed. And this is going to go through Turkey. And that is not a Gazprom. This is all the Baku stuff. This is Turkmenistan and where's Baku?
Can I, while you're working on that, I want to go back to, since you mentioned Holland, I just want to throw one thing in there earlier, or the Netherlands. People are picky about this. Did you know that Vladimir Putin's
daughter lives in Holland? Yeah.
Yeah. Dutch mayor wants Vladimir Putin's daughter, Maria, deported.
Now, listen to this. I'm going to play this clip. This is Don Lemon, who had a Dutch correspondent. I think he's an American, but living in the Netherlands. And this was very, very interesting when I heard this, and I had to rewind the DVR and clip it for us.
Who do you think the Dutch people blame here?
There's no question who the Dutch people blame here. They blame the people who they call the thugs on the ground.
You notice this word thugs popping up everywhere? This is part of the talking points.
Yeah, thugs has become
thugs is the talking point.
In eastern Ukraine, the separatists, and everybody who blames them also blames Vladimir Putin and the Russian regime. They feel that Russia is responsible for perpetuating this conflict and for arming the separatists. And the separatists, the Dutch people see the separatists as just a bunch of drunken thugs.
Well done. That meme is carried through. It worked perfectly.
Great job.
Mm-hmm. Do you think in the days to come, as people start, processing this, that there's more anger to come?
Yes. From the very moment that it happened, I started seeing comments from people here in the Netherlands who were calling for military action, which is, of course, most people here realize is patently absurd and unrealistic. But I noticed as the Dutch government started talking about economic sanctions that there's a great dissatisfaction even with that. I don't know if the Dutch people can be satisfied in any way.
Let's just revisit some recent history of the riling up of the Dutch people against Russia. We've had the gays. Now, this was when Mickey and I were in Holland during Gay Pride Day last summer.
Right.
Remember, I was like, stop drinking. This is when we first found out that these laws were bullcrap. So first there was that he hates the gays. Then there was this horrible diplomat in the Netherlands who was abusing his kids, and they arrested him, and then they had to release him. And then a Dutch diplomat got roughed up in Moscow. Then the Greenpeace protesters were arrested, all of them from the Netherlands. The ship comes from the Netherlands. This has been going on for a long time. They've been trying.
It's a long process. You have to remember that, this is the United States, was the country that brought you Edward Bernays.
Yes.
We are good at this. We are the ones that, when Germany got beaten in World War I, that's where you had Goebbels and these guys show up saying, we got beaten by propaganda.
Yeah.
And we have to fight it. And so they developed their own form of it. And but in fact, we are the best at this. We're unstoppable.
Yeah. And what's really crazy is that and this is, I guess, I don't know if this may even be in their Bernays writings. When you really, really get down to it, of course, we do the best propaganda, much better than Russia. We really know how to play people in the media. But what you need to do is you need to turn it around. The Dutch saying, wat je zegt ben jezelf, met je kop door de helft. And say, oh no, those people are doing it. And this is a guy, Remnick, I don't know, from the New Yorker magazine. And listen to what he said on, of course, MSNBC.
I think it's very hard for an American to imagine what an all-embracing ramification this is.
It's the big lie.
Imagine.
It's the big lie.
Imagine a certain kind of president appointing Glenn Beck to every network and every television channel that anybody possibly would watch, and putting out a kind of paranoid propaganda line that is repeated every night. If you were to watch Russian television tonight, the main state television stations, you would be hearing that the Ukrainians, in conjunction with the United States, was responsible, quite possibly, for shooting down that airliner. You would be hearing all kinds of things that you and I would consider crazy. But this is the mental universe that's being created by an all-embracing Putinism.
Putinism. It's the Putinism. I love the Putinism.
That's the tip of the day. Putinism.
I won't take it. I'm not going to accept it.
I'm not giving it to you.
Okay, good. Now let's just go back to Marie Harf. You may have this clip, but this is Matt, of course, our buddy from AP, who is just an outstanding journalist. He may be a wuss, and I think he drinks too much, and that's what he kind of...
know that he drinks at all.
He looks like it. He looks like a drinker. And by the way, Matt, if I ever meet you, I'm buying. I'm getting drunk. I'd love to get drunk with this guy. He looks like... he's always hungover looking. And he asked this is the obvious question, and this was 15 minutes. I cut it down to a couple. You can stop whenever you've had enough, but I love this tete-a-tete.
How is it exactly that you know that it was fired from Russian, from separatist-held territory?
Well, we have a great deal of information that the Secretary laid out yesterday, and I can go back through some of it today. But we do know, first, that Russian-backed separatists were in possession of an SA-11 system as early as Monday, July 14th. This is from intercepts of separatist communications posted on YouTube by the Ukrainian government.
Is there anything other? Because,
I can keep going if you want to jump in.
Well, is there stuff that's other than social media?
Yes, absolutely, there is.
So what is it that's other than social media?
At this point, Matt, we've said what our assessment is, very strong assessment publicly. If there's more information that's based on that we can share, we're happy to do so. We'll continue looking at that. But look, this is what we know as of right now. Based on open information.
Well, stop a second. Was this yesterday's press conference? Because I think this was 2 days ago.
Could be, yeah.
Because I actually was going to get that clip, but then yesterday I ended up clipping the stuff from yesterday. Well, I think we don't have any content.
No, it's okay. This is good. This is, you're right. This is 2 days ago. I mean, I cut it way down because this goes.
I heard this one because I listened to all of this week's clip, all this week's
I'll
stuff.
Play some more, right? Because I'm
waiting for you to play the side clip. But,
no. We'll get to that
some time.
You got
information, which is basically common sense, right? We know where it was.
Common sense. Oh, I'm sorry. Who needs proof when you got common sense?
And social media.
Well, that's exactly what she's going to say. She's going to say social media common sense.
Information that's based on that we can share. We're happy to do so. We'll continue looking at that. But look, this is what we know as of right now, based on open information, which is basically common sense, right? We know where it was fired from. We know who has this weapon.
Well, I don't know.
It's disputed, though. Backed up by a host of information that we have gathered about who did this, where it came from, and what the weapon system was. So we're just telling you what we know now. Right. One of the reasons we've called on Russia to push the separatist backs into an investigation so we can get all the facts.
You're saying, but so the only thing you're willing to put out publicly is the social media accounts. I mean, the social media.
That's part of it.
Right.
That's part of it. Poor girl.
But there is social media account that says that disputes that, or that claims to present a different version. So
what would that version be, Matt?
Well,
that would be the No Agenda show.
There are many theories, but you're saying
most
that
of which are completely illogical.
Well,
I would point out.
I would point. When someone says "I would point out," then you know she's really swimming in deep water. Like, I'm treading water here. I would point out that's illogical.
Well, the accounts that do not support your version of events are wrong.
Yes, Matt, you're catching on.
And all of the ones that do support it are right.
Look, we make assessments based on a variety of intelligence and a variety of information, some of which we can talk about publicly and some of which we can't. We also, and look, if you just...
And look, shut up!
Take a step back.
Take a step back because you're in my face right now, Matt.
Right? We need there to be an investigation so we can get all the facts, period. But on top of that, we have public information, which is, of course, the easiest for us to talk about, of the separatists bragging about having the system, bragging about the attack that took place, and then walking back from it when it became known that it was a passenger jet. I would ask people who don't believe our assessment to say, okay, what other possible explanation could there be for that?
Well, there couldn't be any other explanation. I think a YouTube video sums it up perfectly for me.
They defy logic, right?
No, they defy logic.
Well, I don't know if
and Matt is being very, I have to give it to him. He's being really calm because the camera was on his face, and I like it because he has that old school. What was it Quincy Adams? No, that was the doctor. Who was the guy that who was the reporter? It's TV series. He had a typewriter.
I don't know.
Start from a place of you have separatists out. Again, this is the easiest piece of information for us to talk about. Online, bragging about it. Start there and then work from there.
Let's work from there. Okay, we're bragging about
some phony baloney social media. They got to get off this, by the way. This is not working.
No, this is exactly. That's why she's being thrown out there to try and sell this. And she's the hipster. She understands the social media. She can sell it to him.
Work from all of the evidence we have that we are confident we know where it was fired from. We're confident we know what it was. And it points in a certain direction. Again, we would encourage Russia to support an investigation if they don't believe the facts.
It points in a certain direction, but I'm not sure it would stand up to,
I strongly disagree. I absolutely believe that it would.
Investigation.
Okay, you can stop that.
It's almost over. It's just one last bit. It's like I got 35. Come on. Not everyone hears this. This is what the No Agenda show is good
I have the clips from yesterday I think are a little more poignant. Because he takes the same line of reasoning and pushes it a little harder.
Right, let's roll it. Which one? Hard line?
Well, start with Matt versus Hard comments about... No, I'm sorry, not that one. Matt versus Harf on the line on a map.
I'm not saying it does it all,
and I don't know what the intent...
Well, it sounds the same cadence.
So you wouldn't know the difference.
No, you could put it... This would be 3 years ago, and I would know the difference.
Intentions are if whoever was on the ground pushing the button. I don't.
Pushing the button.
And the last thing about this...
Clearly, I know the intentions were to launch a sophisticated missile and to kill people, whether they were trying to kill Ukrainian military officers or civilians. We're still waiting to find out.
Okay. I'm not arguing that one is better than the other.
I know.
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying.
Your question.
And then on this trajectory thing that you said was put out by the
I didn't think that was new yesterday. We posted that a few days ago.
Right. But I mean, if you just look at that, a layperson looking at it, it's a line drawn on a satellite photo with nothing to back it up.
Well, as I said, it's based on a series of classified information.
Which we have to take the leap of faith to believe that.
Matt, we are trying to put as much out of this, information out about this as possible. We are trying very hard to do so. It is a process that takes, I think, more time than any of us, certainly you or I, would like. But I think I would make the point that it's much more time-consuming to declassify real evidence than to make it up, which is what the Russians have been doing for days now.
Okay, well, be that as it may, are you saying that at some point
we are
the
working
IC
to
is hopeful that they will be able to?
We're working to get more information declassified and put out there as quickly as we can. It's just a difficult process.
Okay,
It's a difficult process when you're trying to fabricate it.
Do you understand that given the conflicting claims, no matter how ridiculous you say the other side's version is, and no matter how implausible it might be, but saying that you've put together the imagery showing the route of this trajectory, showing
just imagery. One piece. It's one piece.
Well, I know,
of evidence.
But anyone can draw a line on a map. They can't.
No, we do it better than others. We've got CGI and we've got the virtual studio on CNN. Come on, Matt. By the way, Lou Grant.
Oh, okay. All right.
Steck nailed it. He's old enough to remember.
Yeah. So he's got the line on the map, but she does have a punchline here.
I mean, I'm not saying
that's not what our intelligence community does.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, that's exactly what they do.
You're a line on the map.
Part 2 of this has got some other tidbit, I think. It's very short.
Who put their finger on the trigger? We still need to find that out.
Right.
But suffice to say, the Russian separatists, we believe, fired this in general, could not be doing what they're doing without the Russians, and responsibility lays at the feet of President Putin. Not just for this, but for every incident that we have seen throughout this conflict. Period.
So it's Putin whose fault this is. That's what you're saying.
I think I was just pretty clear.
So you said it's a very compelling case, but it is a circumstantial case, is it not?
It is a case based on a number of different pieces of evidence, Matt.
Putin.
Yeah, of course.
Now, I want to go play one more Harf clip because this one is kind of interesting because this is a little more, it's funnier.
Oh, good.
And this was they talked about in yesterday's press conference, they talked about how the U.S. has stopped the flights to Ben Gurion.
Yeah.
Because of one stray missile that landed a mile away from the airport. So the USA decides to stop the...
which has been lifted as of today.
Right, but they put the clamps on it.
Yeah.
And she says, and no one would blame you. I don't have the clip of her saying this, but I'm just telling you what she said, which is the setup to this gag, which is the one which is Matt versus Harf comment about an uncomfortable passenger. She says, and nobody would want to fly in there anyway because you'd be very uncomfortable and nervous, and you'd be just a wreck. So that's one of the reasons they stopped flying in. And so he brings this point up.
The FAA and notice to airlines does not apply to military aircraft, which is why he could land.
But on that,
I just wanted to clarify that was a taken question for me.
But on that, you said that if you were a passenger, you would be pretty nervous. Was the secretary nervous flying into?
Secretary.
He's never nervous.
Secretary. Well, as you saw, we didn't announce the trip until it was done.
No, I understand that. But you said that if you were a passenger on a plane flying
not
in,
nervous, Matt. Secretary is very happy to be there meeting with people right
now. And can you speak for your other colleagues? Was anyone on the plane?
This is a ridiculous one.
No, it's not. Because if it's a danger, it's a danger. And if it's not, if the secretary thinks it's not a danger, that's something else.
I just wanted to follow up on the.
He was he and our whole team were very comfortable landing at Ben Gurion.
Which would seem to, I don't know, belie the FAA's concern.
Take that up with the FAA. Yes.
Well, just moving along on that line.
Take it up with the FAA.
So the former mayor of New York City, who would shut down things because, oh my God, let's shut down the city because the Sarnoff brothers might be driving to New York. Shut down the subway because there's a storm coming. Take away salt from people. They might kill themselves. Oh, don't have big soft drinks because it's dangerous for you. The nanny of New York flew into Ben Gurion to prove that there's nothing wrong. I'm not afraid. I'm not worried. And Brolf is there looking mighty tan. I think Brolf is he's out there.
He's on vacation.
He's on vacation. Like, oh crap, I'll do a couple of stand-ups for you. Do a hit for you if you want. And Brolf messed it up with Bloomberg.
If you don't feel safe here, I don't know where you'd feel safe. And I think the State Department is just overreacting in typical bureaucratic fashion.
And by the way, I think it's FAA that put out the warning, not necessarily the State Department. But they did put out a statement, but it's the FAA who said you shouldn't fly. So he is now saying, the State Department and their typical bull crap.
If you don't feel safe here, I don't know where you'd feel safe. And I think the State Department is just overreacting in typical bureaucratic fashion.
Political reasons for that?
Why would you think that?
Do you think it? I'm asking you.
Now, when he said that, I thought he was being facetious. I thought he was saying, why would you think that? I thought he was like doing a no agenda bit. You know what I mean? Like, what politically motivated? Why would you think that, bro? That makes no sense. But he was serious.
Why would you think that?
Do you think it? I'm asking you.
That's ridiculous. Why would you think that? It's an outrage for you to accuse one of our agencies by asking the question.
It's an outrage you to accuse one of.
By the way, I heard about this clip. I didn't see it. I'm glad now you caught it.
It's an outrage you would think that our State Department would be politicizing this event. How dare you?
It's an outrage for you to accuse one of our agencies.
I'm just asking.
I'm just asking. Don't get mad at me, Mr. Billionaire. I'm sorry. I'm just asking. I'm just doing my job.
The question, you're implying that our government does things for political reasons, and maybe every once in a while they do.
They don't?
No, he says, no, it gets better. He says, maybe once in a while they do. This is a great clip.
For political reasons, and maybe every once in a while they do.
Maybe. I don't know. But this is not clearly, this is an outrage you suggest is happening here.
But it's your job to prove it. Just the allegation against our government, I personally take as an offense.
But I didn't allegate anything.
No, I was just asking you if you thought that there was some political motive behind the travel advisory or the FAA
Number one, I wouldn't know.
There's a lot of people in Israel do. You know?
I don't know. You don't.
Well, if he says he doesn't know, then how come you're saying you do know? What is this, Bloomberg?
No, and the other people don't know. But just the tone of the question of trying to create dissension, it's insulting to America.
I'm insulted by you, bro.
Dr. Fauci, thanks so much, as always, for joining us.
Good to be here, Brolf.
Don't you think they're primarily concerned? Their job, these experts at the FAA, is to protect American passengers, and they saw this rocket come into near Ben Gurion Airport yesterday, land about a mile away, and they say they want to err on the side of caution, especially after what happened in Ukraine with the Malaysia airline.
I'm sure they do, but if you have a standard, you would close every airport in the United States. You'd close down every airline. Unfortunately, our security isn't very good then. The real world is that there are things going on near airports all over the world.
Now, here's what's really going on. Yeah, I know.
What are you talking about?
Well, so there's been all kinds of boycotts. So I really don't understand anymore what's going on because, and maybe I'm just going to give up on it. This Israel, Gaza, Palestine, and the media is all saying, Israel is killing everybody. So the media is always pro-Israel, but then when it comes to Palestine, they're anti-Israel. And then Bloomberg, who's always afraid of him, be afraid, citizens, we're going to get killed, put in police everywhere. Then he's, I'm going to go fly because there's nothing wrong. It's the safest airport in the world. But we weren't the only ones. We were not the only ones to shut down flights.
You know that as soon as the FAA announced that it didn't want U.S. carriers to fly to Israel, the Europeans basically did the same thing.
That's not true. British Airways had the courage.
They had the courage
to fly.
Air France, Lufthansa, KLM, most of the major European airlines aren't flying in and out of Israel right now either.
British Airways is, El Al is, and there are other airlines that are.
EasyJet. I think EasyJet is flying, John.
No.
Ryanair.
No, EasyJet, I understand, stop flying too.
Ryanair.
And they have got to make their own decisions. But we've got to stand up and do what's right. You can't just get cowed when somebody says something and everybody goes on the side of ultimate caution.
You mean like big soft drinks, you a-hole?
That's how terrorists win, Wolf.
Yeah.
Can't do that.
I think he said Wolf. What did he say? Brolf? What did he say? Hold on. Did he say it right?
Win, Wolf.
Wolf. So this was basically a part of the the boycott that everyone, Israel is under attack in this in economic attack, and Bloomberg got called in to go and fix it. And if you look at the reports now, where I didn't clip anything, but people say, the FAA has lifted the restriction. We don't really know why, but I'd say some money talking somewhere. Someone put in a call and said, "Fucking lift that shit now, boy." The whole thing is completely weird. And I don't say the word weird often.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that point. That's for sure. That's why we really haven't discussed it much. Just a lot of
I don't understand it anymore.
Discrepant stories.
Mm-hmm. Let me just finish out our Russian thing. Of course, it was Azerbaijan was the country I couldn't think of, Baku. And the Shah Deniz gas field. That is the one that is supposed to replace the Gazprom. This is why Clinton was in Baku. That's why we had the the Eurovision Song Contest in Baku. Azerbaijan is piping the gas through the Caspian Sea. The whole idea was to have this all in place and running to circumvent everything that Russia is doing. But we have two problems in the mix, as we've discussed, and that is Germany and the Netherlands. And the Netherlands, no way are the elites of the Netherlands going to give up on their gravy train. Do you know how many... The Netherlands makes nothing. In fact, big joke on that clip you had. Yeah, we export flowers. Oh, please. Flowers and some cheese and maybe some candles. And
cheese.
Yeah, and the rest is all...
Candles.
Dutch candles.
I didn't know this.
Oh, yes. Candles from...
How about wooden shoes? I think they do those.
No, they don't. There's no export. I believe candles, also from Gouda, I think, were very famous for making candles.
What about some Delft pottery?
Yeah. Okay. You're making my point for me. The country makes nothing. It is known as a doorgeefland, which means a pass-through country. It's always been a transportation pass-through country.
So you just want to be one of those guys picking off a penny every time something happens.
You want to be a law firm. You want to be a bank. You want to be an accountant. You want to be, and these are the things. And you want to be, the Rolling Stones even have their companies set up. U2 has their companies set up in the Netherlands. It's a tax haven. Oh, by the way, not for the citizens. No, you can pay 60% income tax, you stupid losers. While the elites of the world are sitting there, and look at the companies, Boxalis and all these, the dredging companies and the shipping companies, the harbor of Rotterdam, it's so massive. And that's all that there really is. But the government owns at least 50% stake. They're losing money on these deals. Well, everybody else, you're right, who picks and shovels, they're like, and that's what the Dutch are. I'm sorry to say it that way. It's a country that is great at servicing other people. And we don't even do hookers well anymore. They've gotten rid of all of that. We used to have some fun and weed and all. It's ruining everything. And that's how we kept people happy. And now they're like, well, shouldn't we do something about Putin? Yeah, no, it's not going to happen. There's pictures of the king and the queen in Sochi drinking with Putin. They're bestest buds because they're in business together. It's not going to happen. And what the Dutch people got is they got a national day of mourning, which, by the way, looked very much like the Pim Fortuyn procession when he was buried, which I think was the start, really, of this generation being knocked down into submission to shut up. And the Dutch will fight tooth and nail along with the Germans. They do not want an energy union. This is a strife within the European Union that is going to be a big problem. And meanwhile, we have the neocons here, Kerry and the Yaleys and the Noodlemans and the Kagans. They, of course, want to push Russia back, control everything. Ukraine, that country is done. I'm sorry to say it, done. They will keep rubbleizing and making crap just to make sure that less and less gas comes through. And if you try to participate in the South Stream project, which is a really big one Russia's been pushing for, like Bulgaria, then all of a sudden you get bank runs and the government's is resigning and you're getting replaced and people will start dying in their hot tubs. And the same for Italy and Austria. No, you do not want to participate in this because the people who are behind stopping Russia, they are scary. They're scary. They do not care. They will kill you. And the only thing that Holland, that Europe is going to get is this Trans-Adriatic pipeline, and then whatever else we might ship in, which is bullcrap. It means nothing. The Trans-Adriatic pipeline actually has the capacity to probably deliver about 60% of what Europe needs. And this, of course, I think is where the German thing comes from, because the Germans, they're not going to turn off. They don't even want anyone to know that they're getting gas directly from Gazprom. If anyone started pointing that out, that'd be a real issue. No, it all comes through Ukraine. Okay, focus on Ukraine. Shh, don't talk about it. That's why they are even reluctant to even agree that the plane was shot down. They haven't really even said that. This is why the American establishment is hating on Germany, because it doesn't fit in with the whole with the whole process.
Yeah, no, we've been, as we point out on the show, this has been a continuing theme, which is the Get Germany.
Well, that's
propaganda.
not exactly the theme, John.
What?
It's not Get Germany.
Well, it's you're going after
Deutschland,
kind of
Blitzkrieg, Deutschland, Blitzkrieg, Deutschland, Blitzkrieg.
How else would you describe it?
Deutschland Blitzkrieg.
Deutschland. Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's more than Get.
Yeah.
Here's another. So I'm listening to Josh
Earnest.
And Josh also cited social media. I've got a clip, but this is yesterday. The social media thing, this has got to go. This was all the invention of Hillary.
Yeah.
And her boys and her tech experts, if you remember from a couple of years ago, people who've listened to the show long enough, where they established these bull crap, phonies online. By the way, I had a little experience. I had a tweet taken down.
Oh, like removed by the Gestapo?
It did just subtly gone. Push.
Oh?
I used the word McDonald's douchebags.
And your tweet was removed?
Yeah, it's nowhere to be found.
Hold on a second. Let me do this right now. I'm going to.
Yeah, why don't you go look, see if it's in there?
I'm going to tweet this. McDonald douchebags.
Well, no, you have to use the @McDonald's. That way the McDonald's folks pick it up.
Okay, hold on. Everybody do that right now.
McDonald's
@McDonald's. Well, this is interesting. McDonald's Mexico? No. McDonald's and then douchebag or douchebags? Yeah. Douchebag or douchebags?
Dude, what doesn't make it douchebags? It was about the fact that they fired this poor woman who was in South Carolina. There's a story. It's on there floating around.
It's done. It's tweeted. It's done. It's out.
The woman in South Carolina was arrested and thrown in jail and fired from McDonald's, it turns out was the final punchline to the story, for letting her 9-year-old, which is a 4th grader, go to the park by herself.
Oh, yeah. Of course, because, it's child abuse.
Yeah, well, when I was in the 4th grade, I was all over Chicago by myself and a couple of my friends.
My dad left me in Manhattan when I was 9. And he said, yeah, I'll see you back at I got lost. I remember getting lost.
I would get lost. But it's all straight lines.
No, that's what he said. It was all, here's that streets and avenue. And oh my God, this is a trauma that's just coming up. Oh my God. Oh shit.
Oh. Well, I was like, when I was in the 2nd grade, we used to bicycle out from Centerville, California, which is now Fremont, out to Niles, which is 5 or 6 miles away, on a bicycle as a 2nd grader. So this woman it was unfair to grab her, throw her in jail, and then I guess she got out on bail or something. And McDonald's decides to fire her. So I wrote down this, and it's a Washington Post article about the McDonald's firing.
Right.
And I wrote McDonald's douchebags, and it disappeared.
Well, I just did it, and it's being retweeted a lot. So my dad left me in Manhattan. I was 9, and he said, "Oh, you said you get back." And I remember being so lost, and then I had like 50 cents in my pocket.
That was kind of chicken shit to leave you with no money because you couldn't get robbed.
Well, here's what I remember. Oh my God, this is a youth trauma that's just coming up. And I remember some guy saying, "Hey, got any money?" And I said, and he said, "Look, you got nothing to worry about. I'm not going to hurt you. You're a white man." "Yeah, I got 50 cents. Wow. I remember showing up wherever I was supposed to be. Finally, my dad, "Where were you?" It was like I was lost in Manhattan. What a dick! Sucks. Oh my! I swear to God, I'm sweating now. I'm reliving the experience. Whew. Okay. But just before you go into Josh, let me play this from Press TV, which is Iranian propaganda, of course. But it plays right into what you said about social media and Hillary.
The United States is believed to be providing technical support to Takfiri and terrorist groups operating in Iraq and Syria. According to Press TV's sources, the U.S. State Department has provided anti-tracking and anonymous surfing software to militants in order to facilitate their activities online. The department is said to have trained the armed groups in maintaining communications security through 2 NGOs, namely the Institute for War and Peace Reporting and Freedom House. Takfiri insurgents have an active presence on social networking websites, particularly Twitter and Facebook. They use the sites to post news, photos and videos of their atrocities.
And we had talked previously about Freedom House, and that was going back to episode, I think, 618, But this Institute for War and Peace Reporting, that's a new one. Have you seen these guys?
You know, we talked about these guys before.
Are you sure? IWPR?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. It sounds awfully familiar.
Freedom House, yes. And I found that.
Institute for War and Peace Reporting.
Well, you're thinking of Amy Goodman.
No, that's the warandpeacereport.org.
Well, let me see. I'll go to the greatnewssearch.nashownotes.com, IWPR.org. Let me see if the search shows anything. No. No, I don't think we've talked about him.
Well,
John.
talk about it.
Well, if you go to IWPR.org and you look at their supporters, British Council, Canadian International Development Agency, Carnegie Corporation of New York, Community Fund, Big Lottery, Compton Foundation, Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade Canada, Department for International Development UK, European Commission, Ford Foundation, Foreign and Commonwealth Office UK, International Media Support, MacArthur Foundation, Ministry of Foreign Affairs from Finland, Denmark, the Netherlands, Norway, National Endowment for Democracy.
Hold on a second. What is the URL? Because I put in IWPR.
Oh, it's .net. It's .net. I'm sorry. .net.
This is the Institute for Women's Policy Research.
No, that is not what we want. It is IWPR.net. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The National Endowment for Democracy, which is the Democratic Party. The Open Society Institute, Soros. Plowshares Found, Rockefeller Family Associates, Samuel Rubin Foundation.
Who are the head honcho? These guys know how to do it right.
They are big time. And you know what? They say they give, what we do is they fund independent journalism. Where's my money?
I don't fund anything like that.
IWPR gives voice to people at the front lines of conflict, crisis, and change. I think we're at the front line of change. From Afghanistan to Zimbabwe.
Where's the thing about us?
They don't have it. It's only a what we do. Yeah, I know it's bad. It's a what we do. And then it's they don't have an easy place to find staff. They're a-holes.
I can find it.
If you look on the right-hand side, you have staff and offices. The green box on the right-hand side. They have IWPR Europe, which is in London, IWPR United States, and IWPR Netherlands. Hey! Tax-free. Anthony Borden is the founder of the Institute. He was the editor of the highly regarded magazine War Report. Okay, whatever. Let's see. What else has he done? What else has he done? He was commended for the best on... Commended. What does that mean?
Hey, good work, Joe.
It's not an actual award, is it?
No, we commended.
We could say we're commended. We're highly commended. Best online journalism.
It's happened a couple of times. We're actually recommended.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He has received a MacArthur Foundation NGO Research Fellowship. Okay, just like Laura Poitras. He worked as an editor and reporter for Harper's, The Nation, The American Lawyer, contributed to the New York Times. He's a reporter. And let's see.
Contributed to the New York Times.
Yeah, really. So have I. I was interviewed. I contributed.
Well, that's different. You're the celebrity.
Celebrity. So, you know, it's a big outfit.
No kidding.
Big. They got a lot of money.
Well, who's the one getting all the money? This can't be Borden.
No, it's impossible to know because I have no way of pulling the UK information or the Dutch fund information. There's no way to know. This is international. This is a big one. Anyway.
He doesn't have a wiki page.
Yeah, they would delete it anyway.
Huh.
But anyway, so that was indeed Hillary Clinton's doing with, and that was Ronan also. Ronan, Frank Sinatra's kid, was a big part of that, setting that up. And the other douchebag who now is running isn't he running the IT department or the CTO? He took over for Vivek Kundra, another Indian guy. He was also in the State Department. Yeah, there's a lot of this going on, and Hillary's very proud of it. And now that's been handed over to the NGOs. And now we'll go to Josh Earnest, which is the best disc jockey. It's almost as good as Bubba the Love Sponge. In fact, we'll call him Bubba the Love Sponge from now on. And here he is citing social media.
After the plane was downed, there were ample social media accounts to indicate that that an SA-11 system that appeared to be missing one specific missile was being transported back across the border from Ukraine to Russia. There were also social media accounts of separatists talking about shooting down an airplane. So there is a lot of evidence that's already been marshaled.
Marshaled.
That's a great way of saying it.
Yeah, they've been marshaled.
Have you marshaled the podcast yet today?
Well, I got this other clip, which is this got nothing to do with anything. But he actually says the word. He's again he's in the club for saying the word.
Oh no!
Obviously, I misread that. But did anything change in the last 24 hours that made this decision necessary?
No, I don't think that anything changed the calculus on that matter. In terms of the logistics.
By the way, your tweet is not deleted. It's right here. This story is worse as McDonald's douchebags fired the mom. And your tweet is still there.
I couldn't find it. Maybe it's the clown.
Now I've insulted McDonald's.
Well, then take it down. Just delete it. There's a delete button.
I've insulted McDonald's, and they'll spit in my burger.
Well, they probably do that anyway.
Did you know that?
In fact, while we're on the topic, if you don't mind changing subjects real quick, you have to play the food in China McDonald's clip.
Food in China McDonald's.
Wait a minute. Before you play that, I think, we're going to run through how the whole show with our clips
really.
Here.
Well, stop for a second. Stop. You are going too fast.
I am. I agree.
Stop.
I'm
deleting my tweet because I don't want them to spit in my food.
You should delete it.
It's deleted.
There's no reason for gratuitous.
2, did you know that McDonald's does not make their own fries? They buy them. I find that to be an outrage, and I shall not eat there again.
What?
They don't make their own fries.
Well, they buy the prepared fries?
All they do is just heat them up.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Well, no, it doesn't.
When you go to In-N-Out Burger, that you can see them cutting the potatoes right there in the
same
window.
As there was another one Mickey and I went to. It was called Mighty Fine. Have you heard of this?
Never.
Oh, great concept, Mighty. I think it's a Texas thing only. And they actually have the boxes of the Idaho potatoes sitting right in the middle of the.
In-N-Out Burger has their own potato farms.
Well, nana. And with that,
I'm not a stockholder. I don't know it.
And with that, I'd like to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C. Dvorak.
In the morning to you, Mr. Curry. In the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, subs in the water, feet in the air, and all the dames and the knights out there.
And in the morning to everyone in the chat room, they're noagendastream.com. Thank you for participating energetically this morning. And thank you to our artist, Martin JJ. Brought us the artwork for episode 636. And we are looking for always for a great piece of artwork.
We have to discuss some. Which was this? Which one was this? I can't remember.
This was, I don't remember. I can look. 636, Martin JJ. It was, the Gazprom on the tail with the missile flying.
Yeah, now we have to discuss it so artists understand why we picked that one. I liked another piece better in terms of art.
Okay.
But it wasn't as, it didn't have the dimensionality. There's a thing that we look for on these. We're just saying this so the artists can, because our artists are great. But they're always wondering why we'd pick one thing over another. And we talk about why we pick one thing over another occasionally. I'm going to talk about this one now. Because the one I liked better was the No Agenda False Flag Air going down to suit your propaganda narrative with Joshua Pettigrew's very nice piece.
And why did we not choose that? I can't remember.
Because the piece, because the Martin JJ piece was actually dimensional. In other words, it had different things going. It had the missile hitting the plane, but also the Gazprom logo.
Right.
So it's really targeting Gazprom and the Russians.
Right.
And so it had some sort of symbolism that was not available on the other piece.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the reasons that you have, a couple of these guys that can hit a lot of them out of the park, which is Nick the Rat and Martin JJ. They're the two top winners.
Yeah, but 20-watt bulb has been doing great lately.
No, he's on a streak.
Yeah.
But over time, these other two guys, and it's always because it's that little gift that spot artists have that can just do a little drawing that sums up your article and it's placed in the article.
And people do burn out. It's okay. People do burn out.
Yeah,
it's fine. It happens, and you
a lot of people
burn out and come back later.
Knights or the guys who started it all. They're both burned out. Paul Couture
right. Yeah. Shit, one day we'll burn out. It's like,
yeah, that'll be a while. The problem is the news writes itself.
That's true. It's true.
We're not really doing that much. We're just
man.
No, I mean we're watching.
Don't let Mickey hear you
because C-SPAN and we go, oh my God, did he say what I think he said? And then we record it, and then we put it on the show, and we go, oh my God, can you believe he said that?
That's not entirely true. I research documents. I go through. You're making my job sound easy. Come on, I got stature here. You're trying to like play maybe that's what you do.
It is.
That's your contribution.
Yeah, it is. It's my contribution.
You're just drinking Rothschild wine all day and like, oh, what time is it? Oh, half an hour to the show. I should get some clips. Let me go to the well. Oh, yes, there's Marie.
It can't go wrong.
It's easy. And besides that, we also make it look easy. That's actually the hard part, is making it look easy, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people think they can do this show. It's always fun to watch.
It's taken us, we're 7 years now, and we
are appreciated enough that people like to become executive and associated executive producers. Yes. And let me thank a few for today's show.
Great
637, beginning with Brandon Fenton, who is in Colorado Springs, Colorado. ITM gentleman has celebrated a birthday last week and wanted to share some of the cash I received. Here's 33333 for my 33rd birthday. I thoroughly enjoyed the outstanding analysis and top-notch production from the best podcast in the universe. If it's not too much to ask, I'd like a Clooney as a spy, 2 to the head, a shot of karma, and a little girl. Yay. Thank you for the fantastic show and keep up the good work.
See if I can do this.
George Clooney is a spy.
You've got karma.
Hey to you.
Nailed it.
Sir Mark Dytham, the Baron of Tokyo.
Yes. This was a nice note he sent.
What can I say, chaps? Insane analysis. He came in with 33333 also. My CNN app has just sent me an important notification. There was a Ukrainian warplane flying within 5 kilometers of MH17. Adam, hold on a second. Adam, you are so on to something. You guys are worth absolutely every yen we send. Being married to a Russian, Miss Natasha.
Oh, yes. Of course. This makes so much sense. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Your unbiased opinion has saved our marriage on a number of occasions.
That's right. Hold on a second. I got to do something here. Let's see. The No Agenda Show. Saving marriages since 2008.
And this time around is no different. It's absolutely incredible how far the news can be bent. That's the real crime here. Thanks for keeping everything straight. So much so that I am sure that the best podcast in the universe will go down in history for saving us from World War III.
Yeah, good luck with that. We're in the middle of it. It's just we're not realizing it. There's war everywhere. There is a world war.
Depression, yeah.
You know what the thing is? I get emails from people, of course, and a lot of people who have relatives in Ukraine, and a lot of these people don't even live in Ukraine. There's a guy in Canada who's so mad at me. You don't know Putin is an asshole. Putin is killing Putin. And I say, well, how about the Noodlemans and everybody, and everyone was over there, installing the new Ukrainian government, and doesn't that account for anything, or and then we had Noodleman come out, and she basically said. And then they're like, no, man, you don't understand. Putin's horrible. He's evil. He'll kill people. And what people understand is that this is one important point. There is never, even when in the Middle East and the Israel-Palestine, this is never just because I hate you. No. This is always about stuff, turf, resources, and some hookers. That's what it's always about. It's not just I hate you. Putin hates you. No. And that's what you're being told. Stop believing that.
We get the same feedback from our economic hitman, who he's involved with the State Department.
Oh yeah, no, Putin's evil. He's insane. He's crazy. He wants to take it back to the 1960s.
They're trying to promote. I mean, this is all propaganda. They're trying to promote the idea that he wants to be Stalin. Yeah, who wants to be Stalin?
Rebuild the Reich.
Just to rebuild the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Right? There's no evidence of any of this. So anyway, we're going to get flack. That's the idea. It's just people eventually. There's a note that's coming up later in the show that I think explains a little bit of this. It's kind of interesting.
All right.
Christopher Walker, $317.13 in Hortonville, Wisconsin. Excellent work on the recent media deconstruction. What it is that you guys do, the value you bring to the world via No Agenda is so very much appreciated. Thank you. Can I get a Karma and Sharpton resist we much? P.S. The donation amount $317.13 because one is my daughter's birthday of March 17th, 2013.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neat palindrome, and 3 plus 17 plus 13 equals 33.
But resist we much. We must and we will much about that be committed.
You've got karma.
I mean, that is, yes.
Don't
Herbert Lamb.
Making millions, that guy. Making millions.
Oh, no, he's making millions.
Millions.
In every which way. $250.33 from Sugar Hill, Georgia. Herb Lamb. ITM boys.
Hop, the hip to the hip hobby. You don't stop but rocking to the bang bang boogie. You up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogity beat.
ITM boys, and thank you for your courage. I decided to step up to a producership for show 637, even after donating my monthly $50.33 last week, because of the excellent MH17 analysis, and it helps stave off the summer donation doldrums. I hope this helps. It does. Can I get a Clinton send cash, which is actually a Bush?
It is a Bushism.
Bingo, boom, shakalaka, and General Karma to keep the cash flowing for you. Thanks, Herb.
Good idea.
We just need cash. I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Bingo, boom, boom, shakalaka, boom, 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 shakalaka, boom, boom.
You've got karma.
I'm on.
Brian Earhart, or Earhart, it's hard to say, because E-A-I-R, Hart, $200.50 in Harrisburg, Illinois. He's got a little note he sent in. He sent a check. Work some overtime. Time to share with the greatest podcast in the universe. Brian Harris, whatever.
Earhart. You can't just say whatever, because I get people who say, Earhart. Hey, could you ask your partner to call me Joe and not John? I mean, it does matter, Yeah,
well, I make mistakes. Bernard Glenn in Blairmont, New South Wales. By the way, Brian writes in a lot. And he doesn't really write a note. He puts a Post-it note on the check.
Oh, that's cool.
It's kind of funny. Bernard Glenn in Blairmont, New South Wales. Dudes, when Dvorak burned down Club 33 in what can only be described as some weapons-grade pathetic theater, I promised myself I would never donate to you two boneheads again, but would instead bone you both for years to come while sucking. Or suckling, he says. Suckling, sorry. And then he sends us $200.32. Okay. Not sure I get the gist of all that, but
why is that? Why is it? Why did he reverse his stratagem?
He doesn't say. Maybe he's just going to keep sending us $200 and complaining.
All right, well, that's
possible.
Okay. That's possible.
We'll take it. Mm-hmm. Now we've got, what is this? This is not right.
I have Taffon Madison from Brooklyn.
Oh, yeah, Taffon Madison, sorry. In Brooklyn, New York. John and Adam, I just like the guy who only contacts you when you need something. I need a jobs karma. Up for promotion. I need an extra edge over the other human resources. Great show as always. Keep up the good work. As a listener from the beginning, the first 25 shows are evergreens because of all the anecdotes. ITM slaves.
You got it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And then a couple $200 donors, Stephanie Castro in Spring, Texas, right down the street from you. I'm donating on behalf of my boyfriend, Travis Hubbard.
Oh, that's nice.
Who's a longtime boner, first-time donor. He's been listening to your show for years now and listens to every episode at least twice.
Wow.
His big birthday, 30th birthday, is coming up on July 30th, and I figured it was time that I started him on the path toward knighthood. Please give him an associate executive producer status, some karma, and a de-douching. Maybe 2 de-douchings.
Sounds like someone's listening. She knows an awful lot about the show.
Yeah, well, she's listening, of course.
I love this. That's so sweet. Send pictures.
You've been de-douched.
And another...
Hold on.
Karma.
Don't step on his karma. Don't step on the karma.
Did you give him the de-douche? Yeah, you did. So a similar note comes in from Carla, another female standing up for her man.
Oh.
Also south of the Mason-Dixon line in Montgomery, Alabama, $200. And she says, in a handwritten note, my husband, Joseph Krager, is it Krager Kruger? Oh, it looks like Krager on here, but it says Kruger. She's handwritten note, longhand. But nice longhand. Has been a longtime listener and fan of you, John, since, well, probably before we met in 1997.
Since hard drives were made of wood.
Before we met in 1997. He, Joe, has been technically unemployed and has not felt it appropriate to give to the show, even though I don't mind giving all kinds of small donations for dog rescues.
Okay.
Touch with Mimi.
Uh-huh.
I have to say, I kind of hated your show and rolled my eyes when Joe would want me to listen to the particularly good bits. However, it has grown on me this is something we have to talk about, grown on me to the point that I listen on purpose now. I don't agree with much of Adam's really out there stuff, which I haven't heard much recently, but I enjoy his passion. Your show is truly enlightening, and you say what others are afraid to say.
Hell yeah.
I'm not sure that they're afraid to say it.
No, they're afraid for their jobs.
Oh, there's that element. That can happen.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, that's why we don't have advertisers.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to worry about being fired by the advertiser. Mm-mm. Anyway, Joe's 55th birthday is August 8th, Friday. It would please him immeasurably to hear that, and she uses the word immeasurably, to hear that I am giving him an associate executive producership on the No Agenda show.
Aw. That's so much love right there.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic, and I'm very happy to get letters like that. And the only thing that disturbs me now, we should put him on today's birthday list, and then if I remember, we'll put him on the 8th too. But it's first in, first out.
Okay, hold on a second, because it's not first in, first out. It's last in, first out.
Right, you have it right.
LIFO!
What? Who?
Joseph Krager.
Joseph from Carla. Hold on,
from Carla.
I'm going to put that in right now.
Now, here's when I get these notes, I'm always concerned about it because I know this is an issue with a lot of people, men and women, spouses usually.
Hold on, I just need to, for the accounting. His birthday is when? Because I don't have it here.
August 8th.
August 8th. And how old will he be?
55.
55. Double nickels. Can't drive 55. Okay. Yes.
When I reread this part, I have to say that I kind of hated your show and rolled my eyes when Joe would want me to listen to the particularly good bits.
Mm-hmm.
And now she's a big show fan because she listens all the time on purpose, as she puts it. I'm always concerned about this because I think it's common because the show it's so far away from mainstream media analysis. I mean, it's alien. And I want to remind people that there's really nothing we can do about it. We can get people to listen to show 200.5, which I think is a show you can get from the archives at noagendanation.com, show 200.5. It's an introductory show of sorts, talks about the origins of the show. But overall, it's so different. This show is extremely different. It's done as postmodern performance art, as I like to put it, which makes Adam roll his eyes, but I believe that's
I've always...
And we have, and it's done on the fly. It's done live to tape. We do all this stuff right as we go along. We don't rehearse.
Tape.
And we don't discuss beforehand what we're going to talk about, and we have complimentary clips anyway. It's I'm just saying that if I think the best deal is if you're a commuter and you got people trapped in the car, the best way to get them to listen to No Agenda is just to play the show and make them listen because they're on the car with you and you own the radio.
And, well, there's a couple more aspects to it. One, I believe we're making a comedy show. That's what I've always signed up for. I'm just trying to make John laugh, really. If I make John laugh, then that's a good show for me.
Yeah, he can do that about once a month.
Yeah. Two, this is a public health service.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's very, very dangerous to... And I see this now with... And Mickey and I are talking about this almost every single day. Because, of course, we now know at least 5 people who either had a relative or a colleague or someone who was killed in the takedown. The downing of the plane. We've got to say it correct. The downing. The downing. And we're seeing how ill people really are, and how they get this little change your icon, and they get the little day of mourning, and they get to yell. And this is the thing where we differ of opinion. People are yelling back and forth on social media. They're yelling at each other. Screw this guy. Oh, I can't even hear the word Putin. But that's all there is. They're sitting in their underwear, social mediaing each other.
Essentially short-circuited.
Thank you. That's the word. Short-circuiting. Yeah, they're short-circuited. And with this, even if you just listen and get angry because, these guys are crazy, you are releasing something. That by itself is good. But you're probably going to find that when you hear our reason and our analysis, which doesn't just come from us, it comes from people in the field. We have producers, as we call them, or listeners in every agency, everywhere in the world, in government, in science, in art, in education, in entertainment, in the military. We are aggregating this information and we're bringing it to you in a form that we have no agenda. And there's nothing that can stop us from saying anything we want. We may lose a listener, okay? We're not going to lose advertisers.
We have no chance of losing an advertiser.
No, you can't organize a boycott. No, the only thing that will happen,
a boycott.
Yeah, the only thing that will happen eventually is our content will be deemed inappropriate and not lawful.
Well, that can happen, but that's going to be a while.
It'll be a while. It will happen.
You can see the writing on the wall. It doesn't take a genius to see that coming down Broadway.
So it is healthy for you to not watch news. Just don't watch it. Just listen to us. You get the clips. We're giving you the highlights. We're like the Reader's Digest with a little bit of comedy sprinkled on top. And we laugh at people. And we make fun of people. And we make fun of ourselves. And it's good. It's healthy.
So that's the story.
And we're sticking to it. Thank you all very much. These are official credits for our executive producers and our associate executive producers. It works just like Hollywood, where you participate in financing the program. We give you the credits there, and we read your notes in full. And later in the program, we thank everyone who came in at $50 or above. And don't read all of their notes, but we do acknowledge and transparently tell you what everyone gave to us. We could not make it any better in this. I'm sorry. John Steck just emailed. You also have experts in the legal field. Yeah, okay. Help us out for Sunday show, please.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And of course, we always need you to be out there propagating our one and only formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
And we have kibitzers.
Yeah. And I'd like to wrap up with our Russian/energy segment with 2 clips.
Didn't I have something I was going to do in the interim? But
no, nothing. Here is Congressman Adam Schiff, Democrat, not sure where he's from. Where's Schiff from?
California.
California. And he is going to tell us exactly what we can do and what we need to do and how we need to roll this out and what's going to happen.
Can you envision any circumstances or scenario under which there will be U.S. military intervention?
No, I can't. And, those that say the administration's policy haven't succeeded, the only way to ensure that the Russians were out would be to put military boots on the ground. We're not going to do that. But we have enormous economic leverage if we use it. And if we use it in concert with the Europeans, we can literally bring the Russian economy to its knees. And I think that would be the most powerful body blow, frankly, to Putin, who is riding high in domestic popular support. But when the Russian economy really starts to feel it, Russians may lose some enthusiasm for Putin's bellicose foreign policy.
Now this bellicose, yes. I think
he's got a bellicose policy.
Bellicose policy.
What does that even mean? What is a bellicose policy?
I think this popped up before this word has come to us previously, bellicose, and I know we've talked about it.
It means blowhard.
It means belligerent, aggressive, hostile, warlike.
Yeah, actually aggressive blowhard.
Let me see where we've used it on the show. This no agenda, this search.nashownotes.com is fantastic. Bellicose, I'm going to tell you that we used it in, episode 502 is when it came up. Let's see, 526, 501, North Korea. A lot of it has come up with Snowden. That's such a great search engine.
Anyway, go on.
So this is sanctions, right? And sanctions, I think you pointed out on an email, a rare email where we discussed stuff. You said, how is this not an act of war? And when you put tough sanctions in place and, we're going to kick this Putin down to the ground with his bellicose rhetoric calculus. Putin! Let me take you back to 2005. Amy Goodman on Democracy Now! Talking to Bill Richardson. Bill Richardson, I believe, was the UN ambassador for the Clintons. Bush. Was it Bush?
Let's, before you go on, let's make sure we know what we're saying about Richardson. He was one of the secretaries, I believe.
He was a secretary, but I think he was also a UN ambassador.
I don't remember him ever being an ambassador. Let me just quickly. Well, he was the governor of New Mexico. And something about the wiki pages. They're downplaying them. He was the 30th something or other governor of New Mexico. Then he was the United States Secretary of Energy, and then. I'll be damned. You're right. He was a United Nations ambassador from under Clinton.
Like I said.
Well, you said
Clinton. I said Clinton first, yeah. Then you confused me, and I scrambled.
Then you went back to the House of Representatives. This guy's a hard worker.
So he was asked about the sanctions put on Iraq back in the day and how that killed about 500,000 Iraqi children. And these were because of sanctions. And, how does he feel about that? And this is from 2005, Amy Goodman.
Although President Bush led this invasion, that President Clinton laid the groundwork with the sanctions and with the previous bombing of Iraq. You were President Clinton's U.S. ambassador to the United Nations.
The sanctions were the correct policy.
Right. The UN sanctions, for example, the sanctions led to the deaths of more than 500,000 children, not to mention 1 million Iraqis.
I stand behind the sanctions. I believe that they successfully contained Saddam Hussein. I believe that the sanctions were an instrument of our policy.
To ask a question that was asked of U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Madeleine Albright, do you think the price was worth it? 500,000 children dead?
Well, I believe our policy was correct, yes.
All right, so the question was, do you believe the price was worth it? 500,000 Iraqi children? He says, yes, the policy was right, yeah. Let's go to Madeleine Albright, who we just heard him talking about, with the very question which was posed by ABC at the time.
We have heard that 500,000 children have died. I mean, that's more children than died in Hiroshima. And is the price worth it?
I think this is a very hard choice, but we think the price is worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Kill children! Because these are who these people are. These are horrible people. I'm ashamed. But, it's not just here. Elites everywhere. They don't give a crap about you. They want to kill you and your children. They don't care. Afghanistan, by the way, John, I keep my eye on that because it's kind of out of the headlines. So we had this this runoff vote. There's a problem where our guy, I can't remember his name, but then the other guy, Abdullah, which is a much better name.
Yeah, he's much better marketing.
Yeah, that's why everyone wants him, because you can remember his name.
Abdullah. I like the name Abdullah. He's got it twice. I like it doubly.
So nice. We named it twice. Ashraf Ghani is our guy. That's the U.S. guy, who we want to be president. And of course, we need to keep everything running there. But look out what's happening. So somehow we've come up with some strategy where we're going to alter the way government works in Afghanistan. So the winner, this is really great. This is so American. The winner will become the president, but then the guy who's runner-up will become like a prime minister who will have special powers. I don't know, he can cloak or something. I don't know. He'll have special powers that he can use.
Cloak.
But while all of this is happening, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, have come in, and I'll read this to you. This is a big problem. This is from last week. I saved this article. The world's top 5 emerging economies, the BRICS, will participate in the elimination of Afghani drug production together with the Russian Federal Drug Control Service.
Oh, we know what that's all about.
Well, yeah, taking our business away.
Yeah.
That's reverse sanctions.
We're not going to put up with that.
No, this is very bad talk that we're hearing.
Bodies will be found.
Yeah, this is very dumb, but they're going to try.
Very dumb. This means that we're going to see some more. We're going to get some body counts going on here.
For sure.
Between this trying to screw us, the USA, out of the world domination reserve currency, which allows us to live our lives comfortably in debt.
And high, I might point out.
I think it's great.
And high. Yeah, let's make sure you understand we're also high.
And based on whatever. This is not going to fly.
No.
There's something. No.
And by the way, that kind of talk, that gets you blamed for, that gets you shot at. That's not good. It's very stupid.
Yeah, we're going to see some more. We got to keep an eye out for people from major people from BRICS countries mysteriously getting killed until this ends.
Yes. And
I don't know this at all.
So if you wonder, we're pulling out of Afghanistan. This is everything's done. We're set. We have the TAPI. That's the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, India pipeline. That's what it's always been about. And all we're going to do now is, we only need 1,000 guys or so, is just protect the pipeline. And we're doing most of it.
Don't forget the poppy fields, for God's sake.
Yes, of course. But this is the main. We're funding a lot of that with the
pipeline is a big deal, but the poppy fields funds this, the extra money that CIA needs. That's,
sure. But the only thing I'm adding on top of that is that Turkmenistan said they would not participate unless the pipeline was safe all the way through. So the only thing that's now kind of a problem is Waziristan, which, as you'll recall, I mentioned that name before anyone had heard it. Do you recall that?
Well, except the Waziristanis, they've heard the name.
They heard it, yes, that's true. But they don't listen to the show very often. But I said, watch out, we're going to hear all kinds of shit.
You said this about 2 years ago.
And it was simple because I saw where the pipeline was running. And it splits off. We have a northern part and a southern part. And Waziristan, you guys get away from our damn pipeline. We're going to drone you. So we'll fly the drones up and back. I think the 1,000 guys are just to help, with the poppies. But now that the BRICS are going to say they're going to try and eliminate it, I'm not sure why. I think Putin's there to take over it. I think it doesn't want to eliminate it. That would be stupid. He's just moving into our turf. Not smart.
Maybe.
Did you see Feinstein with her?
There's no way they're eliminating that cash crop like that.
That's what I'm saying. They'll take over. Did you see Feinstein on Candy Crowley's show?
No, I know she's been making a circuit.
Yeah, I like what she said here. It was kind of funny.
I think the intelligence is backing up the fact that this was a missile from an SA-11 Buk launcher. that the trajectories and the signatures are such that we know it came up in within
NSA?
seconds.
No, I didn't think she said that.
You have to play it back.
Hold on a second. Let me roll it back 2 seconds. Oop. Let's see.
Are such that we know it came up and within seconds hit either near or.
Was it before that? I'll just start it over.
I think the intelligence is backing up the fact that this was a missile from an SA-11.
SA-11.
She said NSA.
No, from an SA-11 Buk missile launcher.
Okay.
11 Buk launcher. That the trajectories and the signatures are such that we know it came up and within seconds.
And damn it, social media.
Hit either near or hit the plane. I think what's unusual about this, candidly, is the coverage that CNN is giving it.
You mean how they're programming everybody? The propaganda, the U.S. propaganda?
It is bringing it into the home of everyone all over the world.
Good work.
The bodies that lay in the field. The stealing of personal property, stealing parts of the plane.
Don't look over here at what's really taking place. Take a look at the teddy bear being held up.
I think this has become a huge human drama. And I think the nexus between Russia and the separatists has been established very clearly.
Yeah, okay.
So the issue is, where is Putin? And I would say, Putin, you have to man up.
Oh, sorry, I stepped on my own joke there. Here it comes.
Putin. And I would say, Putin, you have to man up.
Man up.
Yeah, man up.
Man up, Putin. Coming from Feinstein.
What is she, a street thug?
Ah, man.
This is Argot.
Yeah, and of course it's horrible that the people died. Of course. I mean, did you see that? I don't have a clip or anything, but my guy, Frans Timmermans, the foreign minister of, and I knew him, I met him when he was the secretary, not the actual foreign minister, but the undersecretary, whatever that's the way they call it. And he's a very smart guy, Bilderberger, but he went into the UN and he read this thing about, it's so horrible, and seeing someone, taking wedding rings off, stealing the wedding rings off of the body, and he totally nailed it. Turn it into a human tragedy, which is exactly what Feinstein is saying, and distract everyone from what's really going on and what's really happening. And it's sad all round. But you can't just stop and only talk about that. You've got to look at what's really going on, people. It's not some mistake. And then we had the French, of course, are also under attack because they have 2 multi-billion euro ships that they're going to deliver, helicopter ships.
And let's ask a question. What are they supposed to do with these ships other than deliver them?
Training. How to drive them. Don't you think?
No.
Yeah. What do you mean?
They're building the ships for the Russians. Now they got to deliver them.
Yeah.
They're not going to keep them.
No, but that's
a huge loss of money. It would, the economy's bad enough.
Right. The community is.
This is bull crap. They're jumping on the French.
Well, they didn't just jump on them. They shot one of their planes down. Air Algiers.
We also want to bring you up to date on the latest headlines regarding this missing aircraft. It is an Air Algeria jet with 116 people that vanished. En route from Burkina Faso to Algiers. They lost contact with the aircraft, and the aircraft never landed. So we'll keep you up to date on this one, but a loss of the aircraft would be the 3rd major accident in a week.
In the latest headlines there, Scott, this from the French news agency. The plane changed direction amid heavy storms. Still no word of a direct crash report, but no doubt missing as well. 116
passengers and crew on board.
On board and dead and gone and whatever.
Yeah, it's just another warning shot.
Big terror threat in Norway. This is new. One of our producers there said, hey, we never get something this big. And this is Al-Qaeda Inc. This is the... they released an English statement just to make it better. The PST, that is the Norwegian service, anti-terrorism service, I guess, A threat assessment for 2014, which we made public at the beginning of March, we state the following, among other things: the terror threat against Norway is considered to be aggravated. Extreme Islamism is still the most serious terror threat against Norway. Also, we state that it has for a long time been a strategy to recruit extreme Islamists in war and conflict zones to carry out terrorist actions in Europe, which really hasn't happened yet, although they say it happened. And that Syria, at the time being, is considered to be one of the leading arenas for this recruitment. The jihadi Disneyland, as Mike Rogers calls it. The situation we are now facing is serious, but is still an expected development in view of the trends and developments we have seen in the course of the last 2 or 3 years. So they are warning that in the next few days, something might happen in Norway. And they have according to our producer there, a Be Vigilant campaign. I asked them if they had See Something, Say Something in Norwegian, but they don't.
Yeah.
Then you need snappy jingles, people. That's what you need.
If you see something, say something.
Now, right along on this path, though, comes a report from Human Rights Watch. And this was very interesting. A lot of people tweeted about this and said, oh, yeah, No Agenda Show is all over this. We know that the FBI is... it's a honeypot, and they all they want to, this is the 6-week cycle. I'm sure you saw news about this.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. But there's something very peculiar with this. Because, I didn't just take it at face value. No. I went and got the report. I have it. I'm going to open it here. And I have, of course, marked up some pages for everybody's pleasure. And I noticed pretty much immediately that there was something very, very strange going on, which actually flows into something else that we've been looking at recently with Donald Greenwald. So the headline kind of this report, which you may have heard of, is FBI in most of the 500 cases where they have thwarted terrorists, these people were set up. And the report, which was co-authored by the Columbia Law School for the Human Rights Institute for Human Rights Watch, is titled Illusion of Justice, Human Rights Abuses in Terrorism Prosecutions. And this is not at all what I thought it would be.
And what did you find out?
This is about...
Tell us more, Adam.
Muslims being targeted. This is exactly what Glenn Greenwald came out with, saying the NSA is targeting Muslims. And we know that the people who have been targeted by the FBI, the saps who are, tricked into doing things, are not all Muslims. But even right here in the summary document, this is the first line of this report. Muslims are a fundamental part of the American family. In fact, the success of American Muslims and our determination to guard against encroachments on their civil liberties is the ultimate rebuke to those who say that we're at war with Islam. That is a quote from President Barack Obama at the top of this document. And then the whole document goes on to talk only about American Muslims being tricked into committing acts of terror, and they focus specifically on the Newburgh Four. Those are those boneheads who had nothing. Remember those guys who were in a garage and they brought
the guys in the garage who were going to blow up Florida.
Yeah, exactly. and on the Human Rights Watch webpage, they have a video with the president of the Human Rights, and then also their Muslim lawyer, or that's not the right title, but she essentially represents the Muslim cases. And I wanted to play this edited down version of that. And remember that the Human Rights Watch is paid for. Their money comes from the State Department. So for some reason, the State Department, and I believe this coincides with Glenn Greenwald's big revelation, the big fireworks that, the NSA is targeting Muslim leaders. What is going on, people? Why is this? Why is it? How about Christians and Jews and atheists and heteroflexibles? Why is it only the Muslims? Why are we doing this?
Since the September 11th attacks, there have been over 500 people prosecuted for terrorism-related offenses. And this is a number that sounds really big, and it makes it sound like Americans are being kept safe from terrorism attacks. But we found that in a lot of these cases, People were prosecuted who never would have committed a terrorist act in the first place if it weren't for the involvement of the FBI. The theory behind some of these cases is that these people are terrorists in waiting. If the FBI hadn't shown up and taken them down the path of committing this terrorist act, Al-Qaeda would instead. But we don't have evidence of that actually happening.
What this means is that American Muslim communities are being treated as suspect, that law enforcement approach them not just as partners in countering terrorism or providing information about potential terrorist attacks, but as places where terrorism could be bred. These were not individuals who were ever planning on their own to actually conduct terrorist activities. They were individuals who were vulnerable to being recruited. They're young men, an 18-year-old. They're people with mental illness, schizophrenia. They're people who are susceptible because they want money and they could be bribed.
The prosecution of 4 men from Newburgh, New York, is really emblematic of a lot of the human rights violations we've seen in federal terrorism prosecutions around the country. These men were vulnerable, they needed money, and they were lured in.
You're taking 4 people who have never committed an act of terrorism before, who have no political aspirations, no means to commit the crime, no access to terrorists to help them commit the crime, no access to the money to buy the weapons, not even access to cars to get to the sites of potential attack.
The idea that law enforcement should do anything and everything to prevent the risk of a terrorist attack means that there are people locked up in federal prisons right now who probably shouldn't be, people who are serving very long sentences who probably shouldn't be, families that have been torn apart, and communities around this country who live in fear.
I think that this can only be one thing. The CIA, i.e. the State Department, are now going after the FBI. We know that the FBI gets all this immunity in whistleblower cases. The FBI actually has, in this document, they talk specifically about what the FBI can do. And I'm going to scroll down here. And the only
not to interrupt, didn't we say on the show a number of times that we felt there was a battle between CIA, NSA, and the FBI? By watching congressional testimonies, we saw this. The FBI was all in with the NSA.
So here is and we know from the funding document that we looked at 2 weeks ago, I think. That the president signed, that the FBI is immune from a lot of the whistleblower activity. And here in this document from Human Rights Watch, post 9/11 changes to priorities and rules governing federal terrorism investigations. And they say here more than 40% of the FBI's operating budget of $3.3 billion is now devoted to counterterrorism. However, instead of authorizing limited criminal investigations, the rules authorize and encourage the FBI to perform what amounts to expansive intelligence collection. These changes include increased surveillance of communications, Congress expanded the communications that may be subject to surveillance under the FISA, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, and expansive information collection. The Department of Justice, under revised Attorney General guidelines, gave the FBI expansive authority to conduct pre-investigation assessments, gathering information in the absence of suspicion of wrongdoing or threat to national security for unlimited periods. The FBI can now gather and store in their databases information about where individuals pray, what they read, and who they associate with. The FBI may also task and recruit informants from a particular community without any articulable suspicion of criminal activity, in contrast to previous limits. And then finally, invasive investigation techniques, FBI agents can now use invasive investigation methods, attending religious services or political events, or tracking an individual's movements without having a reasonable indication that anyone is breaking the law. This is due to the substantial revisions of the Attorney General guidelines and the FBI's Domestic Investigations and Operations Guide. This is shit the president made up. Some state and local law enforcement also engage in these activities, but they are not a focus of this report. No, it's only the FBI. And I think the FBI has the goods on a lot of people. And this is the move they're making.
Well, this is the old FBI. I mean, J. Edgar Hoover was known to have dossiers on everybody.
Yes. Yes.
And this is one of the reasons they put that law into effect that you can't be in the FBI as the head of the FBI for more than 1 or 2 terms.
Except if you were there during 9/11 and we can just reinstate you for a couple more years. Robert Mueller went to 12 years, of course.
But
everyone agreed.
No, I think they probably do. There's a blackmailing operation, which is why they're in bed with the NSA, which is a blackmailing operation.
It's bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. The CIA and the State Department probably don't like this. So they would put Human Rights Watch, which is the front for the State Department, would start to go after them in subtle ways. And they'll probably be getting photos in the mail.
Yeah.
You want this photo on the National Enquirer?
You like this photo we got here?
Yeah, look at this. Look at this little hooker. You know she's underage, right?
Oh, man. You're bad.
Yeah. Goes on. Well, that's just, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Generally speaking, the secret police side of the equation wins, which means the FBI and the NSA will win in any battle that I can see, unless assassinations begin, they would beat the CIA State Department.
Well, the problem is
mano a mano.
The problem is the timing. This is the summer months. We've got Putinism happening. This is not the time you want to try and smear the FBI. This is just bad marketing. Where is the Curry Dvorak Consulting Group in all this? Because we could have told them that. Just dumb.
Yeah, you got to put these things. You got to do this some other. I don't know what. To be honest, off the top of my head, I don't know what else they can do. I think this is a difficult situation.
Yeah. No, it is. It's definitely.
I mean, they got rid of what's his name, and that's as far as they could go. The head of the NSA, and who's now making, apparently, as a consultant, he's making $1 million a year here and there.
It's $1 million a month.
$1 million what?
A month? Yes, a month for consulting for Wall Street.
He's
yeah.
That's right. We didn't talk about this story. He's making $1 million a month. This is, we're talking about Admiral
Kaiser Alexander.
Kaiser Alexander, who's the head of the NSA. He quits, retires on a government salary, so he's double dipping. And then he goes as a consultant for Wall Street because he's obviously a financial genius, making $1 million a month.
So
what do you think he's doing for the $1 million a month?
Handing over state secrets?
I guess.
Why not? Yeah.
Well, it's ludicrous.
Yes, you are correct. We haven't really talked about anything, but what do you think is going to happen next just in the world? Because now we're in these cycles, which are really, the 6-week cycle, I can't even keep track of where we are. We had Lagarde saying something would light up on the 20th. Well, it was the 17th.
Nothing happened.
The 17th was close enough. There was actually a report that says that Russia may get kicked out of the G20. I thought that was kind of funny. That was close to what she was talking about. But it's undeniable.
Why would you kick Russia, one of the world's leading energy suppliers, while in bed with Saudi Arabia, I might add, which is what we are? Why would you kick them out of the... this is really... Doesn't anybody notice this is outrageous?
Well, this is the U.S.
I don't care whether you like Putin or not. No. Nobody likes Putin. But this is outrageous.
Well, I think it's the U.S. One thing we do better than everybody is propaganda. We are... Anyone can say, oh, the Russians are doing propaganda. Sorry. We do it better than anybody. We are Hollywood.
We invented
it. Thank you. We know how to do this. And we are, in essence, waging a war on Europe. That's really what the United States, not me, not you, but the neocons, Kerry and the gang, they're waging a war on Europe, and they're pressuring Europe to be very cold this winter. Yes, no, the Europeans.
So essentially, let's look at this over. So what you're saying in a meta sense, in other words, this will be an analysis.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying that, and I would actually kind of agree with this because I always thought this was about Europe. Because I always thought that Europe is an enemy once they formed the EU. It's an enemy of the United States.
The euro is an enemy of the dollar. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so the idea now is to change the game so Russia is the bad guy, and we talk Europe into being on our side. First, we set this up. We got the Dutch plane down. We got all these different things going on.
Hold on. No. First, he hates gays.
Well, okay, no, if you want to bring all the stuff, but let's say, okay, we had a long strategic attack.
Look at it only from a propagandistic standpoint. Hates the gays, hates dogs, ripped off his country on building Sochi.
Right. Sochi was going to be a disaster and a terrorist target.
Yeah, and he arrested all the Greenpeace people, and which he let go, by the way. Pussy Riot. What else do we have? Yeah.
So how could you like this guy? He's a horrible person because of all this. And so we try, if we can get the Europeans on board, where Russia says okay, and turns off the gas and starts shipping all the gas to China, because they're not going to be, the Chinese aren't falling for any of this crap.
No.
And so all the gas and everything turns around away from Europe. It goes toward China. We do get to sell some gas to them because we have a lot of gas in our tankers that can be shipped to Europe to help out. But it's not going to make up for the shortfall.
No.
And we freeze them out.
Well, I'm just
we send the gas to the elites.
I'm just going to say, all I have to do is play this, and you know exactly what our stance is.
While I'm driving off laughing, this is what I'll say. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. Fuck the EU. No, exactly. Fuck the EU.
And we mean it. I think the whole thing is massive regime change. Because eventually, I think this is the idea, and I don't think it's going to work in the Netherlands, but the idea is keep pushing. Of course, the Dutch government is not going to do anything. There are no sanctions. What are they going to say? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I don't want to make any more money on this gravy train I'm riding. So, you can't store your money. You can't have your money here for tax evasion. You can't have your legal cases here. You can't store your gas here. You can't transport your oil onto our ships in our harbor. Really? You think the Dutch government and the elites it's one big, I know this, I've lived in this country. It makes me mad how incredibly incestuous is it, and people don't understand. So the only thing the elites here have is let's make everyone crazy. Let's make them crazy so they, and I don't think it's going to work because all what they got now is changing Twitter icons, but they want the people to vote for other leaders.
That's kind of the irony.
Yeah. The irony is it's not working because everyone's like, oh, well, I'll change my Twitter icon. I feel much better.
I changed my Twitter icon. I've done my part.
Yeah. And so somewhere someone's running a dumb operation, but that's the only thing that makes any sense. We want to confuse the Europeans. Don't you think it's something like that, and make them all, maybe if they're just all confused and compliant. I mean, I don't know, man, but this.
Well, so we've done a pretty good job. We've got the whole thing. I love the Marie Harf comment. When she would say anything about the downed plane, she'd always use the term pro-Russian separatist controlled.
Insurgents.
No, she would say separatist.
Okay.
Pro-Russian, because I wrote it down. Pro-Russian separatist controlled part of the Ukraine. Separatist Ukrainians, everyone else will say, but she always adds pro-Russian. And it's like, okay, pro-Russian. You say it enough times. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I'm liking it.
There's more about the EU.
And by the way, I want to, since you brought this up, I want to play a clip that maybe I was just me, but in yesterday's press conference, Harf reads, she's reading it. She's not being sincere, it seems to me. She reads a thing about the dead plane riders on the downed Flight 17. Mm-hmm. And she reads it, and I just thought there was an incredible note. I could, tell me I'm wrong, of insincerity. Like, oh, and we'd like to say a memorial for the, MH17 dead. You just play it, and maybe I'm just completely off base.
Which clip is this?
This would be Hard insincerity reads memorial. Sorry.
Yeah.
First, I'm sure many of you have seen that today is the Dutch Day of Mourning. Today, we join King Willem-Alexander, Prime Minister Rutte, and all of the people of the Netherlands in mourning the loss of the 193 Dutch residents who died when Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 was downed over eastern Ukraine. No words can adequately express the sorrow the world feels over this loss. On behalf of the American people, we again extend our deepest condolences to the families and loved ones of the victims of this terrible tragedy. As the President said yesterday, we will work with the Netherlands to make sure that loved ones are recovered, that a proper investigation is conducted, and that those responsible for the downing of Flight MH17 are brought to justice. And second, a quick travel update for people. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's almost, I didn't clip it, but Anderson Pooper, he's like, oh, this is so horrible. And when the loved one passed, and then he goes into his mother, it's like, oh, my mother's brother committed suicide. You know, you never really get over it. I'm like, listen,
it's all about him.
This is elitist ass wipe.
Jeez. I just thought that Harf was just...
No, of course it's insincere.
Insincere.
Of course it is.
Why do it if it's going to be that insincere and so transparently insincere? Just say, don't say anything. It wasn't needed. Anyway,
have you?
She said it. You know, the way to get it, just for people out there who want to get one of these jobs, one of these things. The way I would do it, if you wanted to, because you're not going to be sincere.
No.
Say, we would like to. Here in the press room, we like to have a moment of silence for those who died in MH17. You have your moment of silence.
That would have been perfect.
And then you say, then you make some little comment and you're done. You don't read an insincere note like this. Just say a moment of silence. It works great.
She couldn't point to the Netherlands on the map. You know it. I got a note. We got to do our little segment here. I got a note from producer Pierre. Have you seen A Clockwork Orange?
Over and over. I've seen the unedited, the unexpurgated version, the good one.
So you
great
remember,
film.
You remember Alex in the film, yeah?
No, who's Alex? You talking about the
Alex had
Rodney McDowell?
Who they brainwash?
I'm sorry, Malcolm McDowell.
The brainwash and control, right, Alex?
Yeah.
If you go back and watch the movie, which apparently you've done over and over. They brainwash and control Alex while playing Beethoven's Ninth Ode to Joy.
Okay.
Which is the European national anthem. I'm just saying.
Catch of the day.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda.
A few people to thank for show 637 as we approach show 666. Daniel Horvitz.
Yes, he sent me 2 videos, which are through Dropbox. I'll see if I can put those in the show notes.
Yes, put them in the show notes. ITM John and Adam, $103 for the temperature in Van Nuys and $48.50 for the number of miles on the No Agenda battery car.
I saw this thing. It's cool.
He's got a battery car that he's made, the No Agenda battery car. He's got a couple of movies of it and a bunch of photos. And he races this thing, I guess, or it's faster than a Tesla.
It's a Porsche 944 body,
an old 944,
and the car is number 33.
Right.
It's really beautiful to look at. He sent a picture earlier this morning, so I'll get the videos and I'll post them in the show notes.
So he has got a hot rod that he races around the track, and it's nice. Right now, I mean, it's not real racing. It's the kind of fake racing that some of these guys do. But I think he could actually run that thing in competition.
Yeah.
But it goes like a bat out of hell. It's got those high horsepower motors that they use in the Tesla.
Okay.
Anyway, Sir Don from Iwa Beach, Hawaii, $150, and he sent a note in. Let's see, there's something else say here. I don't have anything to request, he says. I realize you two have taught me a great deal about how the media works, and that is priceless. I enjoy your podcast very much, as well as your selection of animal pictures in the newsletter. The panda bear's a cutie. Okay. He's in Hawaii living it up. I'm glad he can listen to the show at all. William Durkin in Greenville, South Carolina, 123.59. Javier Vazquez in San Diego, California, flat 100. Jason Wall in Regina, Saskatchewan, rhymes with fun, $100. Jordy Cardas in Vancouver, BC, $100. We have our Canadians coming on board with the, and it's a start to his knighthood. Mary Messer in Fair Oaks, California, actually sent this check in, and $97, and it's with the notes and papers and
one of those like scrapbook collection.
She's a poet. There's some poems in.
Nice.
So like that. Get your pen. Sorry about this.
Yeah.
Like to have a birthday call out for my amazing and wonderful son Matthew.
So this is from
Mary Messer.
Mary.
From Mary
Messer, yes.
Mary.
Son
Matthew, 18th birthday on July 24th. Yes, I do have a bias in thinking he is so amazing, but I do also get told very often that he is a great young man by others who know him.
Oh.
The loving mom.
Only the ones who know him. Yeah.
By the way, the donation amount is the predicted high on Matt's birthday. I had the donation for temperatures in the newsletter.
You know,
I'm hoping they're
can I
wrong.
just tell you something crazy?
What?
I found the rain stick.
Yeah.
And unpacking yesterday. And so, when you find your rain stick, what do?
You move it.
You shake it a couple times this morning. Yeah. Pissing down rain.
Well, good. You needed the rain.
July in Texas.
Well, you need the rain?
Well, we always need rain.
Apparently, Matthew does poetry too. Anyway, so we'll put him on the list, and that'll be great. James French, $90 in Pike Road, Alabama. Torben Brendan Peterson, with a D, in Sarpsborg, Norway, 7777.
Sack of sevens.
Sack of sevens, very rare sack of sevens. Jason Doolin, 7414 in Lost Wages, Nevada.
George was his United Nations email.
Yeah, we got to look at that. I don't have it.
I'll look. George sent me something.
George Vanderhorst sent something in, and he's in Kathole, Netherlands.
Kaatsheuvel.
Which means a cat hole for the cats.
It's bouncing hill.
Bouncing kitties.
Bouncing hill.
6969. Also, Mohit Taneja in Austin, Texas, right down the street from you. 6969. We'll have some karma for him at the end of the list, and he wants getting laid karma. Sir Pat Deary in Sarnia, Ontario, Canada. Value for value. Matthew Haley.
I guess the H is silent in French.
Haley. He's in Quebec, but apparently he's Dutch or something. I don't know.
No, it's French. Mathieu.
That's French?
Mathieu.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hello, Laurel and Hardy. Been a boner since show 500. Gave me a lot of value, and this is a small token of gratitude. There's a douchebag call out here, which was missed by the back office.
Oh, yeah, douchebag.
So you send a douchebag to Harper, and we'll do that.
Douchebag.
I guess that's your PM.
So, Harper. Well, he's not going to donate, so I think it's a wasted douchebag. Richard Leiter in Lincoln, Nebraska, 5689.
This is the producer who came up to us in the market. This amount combined with my gift to you of the book Mississippi River Tragedies, which we received, thank you very much, totals a gift of $88.88. It's been a great book. Yeah, this is one for the. This is a very interesting book that he sent Miss Mickey.
You were in the market in Lincoln, Nebraska?
No, he was here. Remember, I talked about him and Jim.
Oh, right.
And he was the grandfather, and we messed up his grandkid's name and everything, and he messed up the date.
Messed stuff up.
So this Mississippi River Tragedy is interesting. Wow, what was that?
It was a robin.
It shows how the Army Corps of Engineers has essentially screwed up the whole Mississippi River. And it's created all these tragedies and horrible things.
That wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. Thanks, Rich.
Alexander Hakapian in Houston, Texas. Could be Hakopian if he's Armenian, I suppose. 5510, double nickels on the dime. The one and only double nickels on the dime donation for today's show. Sir D.H. Slammer, 5333. He says, please buzzkill a night call out of my coworkers as boners. Let's give them the douchebags for Cyrus and Sam.
Douchebag.
Joshua Ogle. It's got to be Ogle. Joshua Ogle in Orlando, Florida. Great place. $50.01.
John, your kitten clickbait was lame, but I guess it worked.
Well, it wasn't lame then.
No.
Yes, I said click on me on the kitten picture and it sent them to the donation site.
And you misspelled kitten. And you misspelled kitten and said kuitten.
I think if you have the if you click on I think people expect to click on the kitten, which was a live link, and get more kittens. I don't know why you'd think that, but I think some people would. Oh. Eric Grunewald in someplace in South Africa.
That would be a Dutch guy, probably.
Userfontein.
IJzerfontein.
Okay, $50. We need some information about how you guys are doing with the BRICS deal. Keep an eye out, Eric.
Yeah, really.
iTinyK Ltd, London, UK. $50. He wants a douchebag for Garth and Sean,
who have listened but not yet donated. Yeah, you betcha.
Douchebag.
Macy Stolowski in Calgary, 50. These are all 50s. Jason Daniels in Dallas, Texas. T.A. Bell in Bergfield, Berkshire, UK. Brandon Menk in Tempe, Arizona. Aaron Heath in St. Agnes, South Australia. Eric Veet in Dublin over here, Dublin, California. Sir David Trotsky in Romeoville, Illinois. Sir Mark Tanner in Whittier, California. Benjamin C. Smith, final donor for $50 for show 637. I want to remind people that we do have a show coming up on Sunday, which will be probably poorly subscribed to as last Sundays, but we want to remind you, maybe you could help us out a little bit better at Dvorak.org/NA, channeldvorak.com/NA, also noagendashow.com and noagendanation.com.
And for everybody who needs it, we've got some job karma, some getting laid karma, and some general karma for you now in this sequence.
We believe in science.
Dingo, boom, boom, chagalaka, boom, 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 chagalaka.
Jobs, and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Wow, that's a good one. All right.
Yeah. Let's see. We have one baronetting today. Let me just grab my own accounting here. What do I have? We have Sir Bart G becomes baronet. And he requests a boom shakalaka karma for his parents. So we just did that. Thank you very much, Sir Bart G, for your extra support of the best podcast in the universe. That is highly appreciated. And then all we have to do is just, again, remind you for this Sunday and get to the birthdays.
Dvorak.org/NA. It's your birthday.
And here we go. Brandon Fenton celebrated last week. We congratulate him. Aaron Heath's 27 on the 26th of this month. Stephanie Castro says happy birthday to her boyfriend, Travis Hubbard, who will be turning 30 on the 30th. Carla says happy birthday to Joseph. He'll be 55 on August 8th. And Mary Messer congratulates her son, Matthew, turning 18 today. Happy birthday from your friends and lovers here at the best podcast in the universe.
It's your birthday, yeah.
Bada bing.
Yeah, I have the Doolin note, and I could forward it to you, but it was a drunk mail too.
Oh,
and it actually makes no sense.
Oh,
so no reason to go any further than that.
Oh, okay. So
he says, I was reading through some patriotic propaganda when it claimed the definition of human included being a monster, and then he couldn't find any evidence of this. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Let's see. Oh, I do have a quick War on Weed clip from Washington State, up there where you have the Animal House, the farm, which I think is a nice little bit of positioning.
Watch out, because we're talking the full weight of federal law coming down on you.
Local police call it the new meth. Today they announced they're teaming up with federal officials to take on illegal hash oil production in Washington state.
Today's charges show that we will take that threat seriously, we will charge people, and we will hold them accountable.
So this is the manufacturer of oil, hash oil, which if done incorrectly, you can blow up the house. You can blow up the house with a lot of things. But this is now a federal issue. The feds are now coming down on you if you're trying to make hash oil. It's the new meth. It's the new meth.
Not the new meth.
Did you heard him say it? It's the new meth.
How could it be the new meth?
Because meth labs blow up. That's why.
Oh.
You see what they're doing?
They call it the new dynamite.
But that's not
dynamite factories blow up.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Here's a good one. This was interesting, I thought. I thought they were going to. There's a story that was brought up to your buddy Josh
Ernest,
and it was about the Apollo 11 guy showing up, and then this guy was bent out of shape because they wouldn't let cameras in. And I thought this was interesting.
I don't quite understand what you said, though. The Apollo 11 showed up. What?
The Apollo 11 astronauts showed up as a celebration of the landing on the moon.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And they wouldn't let anybody film it, and it became a point of contention.
They wouldn't let the press was not allowed to film the Apollo 11 guy showing up?
No, they weren't.
Oh,
and
boy.
it's a pretty lame explanation.
Okay, and I'd like to come back to what Major's point about the Apollo 11 representatives that were here at the White House today. Why the intense secrecy around this event? Why not allow television cameras into that?
It's merely a scheduling matter, John. There's a number of things on the president's schedule that was. We've had the trip to the Dutch embassy today. The president's making remarks over in the EEOB with the vice president to talk about job training, and the president needs to get on a plane at 1 o'clock this afternoon. So the president has a very busy schedule, and we weren't able to accommodate television cameras this time.
The last Bulls break took 38 seconds.
Understood.
The president's schedule, couldn't he have been maybe 5 minutes later for the fundraiser out in Seattle? You really couldn't accommodate a few minutes for open coverage of this?
Not this time, John.
Let me ask you, because I find that explanation, frankly, a little hard to believe, given that, this is such a small amount of time to come in and have a little bit of...
Well, I'll just say that in the past that there have been some television journalists who've complained about the small amount of time that was granted to some...
I think I've probably been one of those, but complaining when it's 38 seconds, maybe it could be a couple of minutes. But is it because... some of those Apollo astronauts, including Neil Armstrong, shortly before he died, going to Congress, was very critical of this president for the way he has handled the space program. The words of Neil Armstrong was a very private person, as you know, before Congress, saying that the president's canceling of the Constellation program was lamentably embarrassing and unacceptable. Is that why the president did not want to see television cameras into this photo op?
Absolutely not. The president invited the crew members of Apollo 11 to the White House to honor their contribution to space exploration and to the innovation in the field of science. It's a genuine honor for the president to have him here today, and he's proud about the fact that they chose to come. I will also say that we are proud of the policy that this president has put in place to take our space program to the next level, and we're very optimistic about the future of the American space program.
We believe in science.
Oh, it sounds like he blew him off.
Yeah, it sounds like that to me.
Screw y'all. Yeah, screw you. He didn't go there anyway. What are you, actors? He knows. Obama knows.
I got an evergreen little thing I want to do.
Okay.
Tom Hartman says something here within this clip. It's only short. Look at the size of the Hartman clip. Look at what do you think? How long?
8 seconds. 8 seconds. I can handle 8 seconds.
He's not that bad. Okay.
What?
Go on. Let it play.
Do you need to set it up? Or are we good?
No. There's something in here. I'm going to use it on clips now. You're going to have to be aware it's going to happen.
Okay.
In every other direction. They put in an exchange. Their people love it.
This, that, and the other direction? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, what happened?
I played the clip, and I said this, that, and the other direction. You didn't say anything.
No, it's because I got cut off. I got the bing, bing.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't hear that.
Play the clip again so I can hear what he says.
I think he says this, that, in the other direction.
In every other direction. They put in an exchange there. People love it.
People love it.
People love it.
People love it.
I just thought it was funny. I'm going to start using that because his voice cracks and he says, people love it.
I cannot wait until we finally get into the presidential elections for 2016. I love seeing everybody harp on Hillary. I love everyone, big upping Elizabeth Warren. I love how Hillary went to Google. You got to see that, the Google talk with Eric Schmidt and Hillary. He, by the way, the way he talks he's way above her. It's pretty funny to watch.
Eric's always been that way.
Yeah, he's very, very
haughty.
Yeah. But then, of course, we have Joe Biden, who we know is, Joe is the guy who says, I look Putin in the eyes, and he said, you got no soul.
He's going to run.
Yeah, you got no soul. I think Putin actually replied to him and said, well, you know how that feels then, don't you? Apparently in that exchange.
I'd never heard this.
Yeah, I have it in the show notes, so it must be true. And then we have King Kerry, and this is like, wow. I mean, so he did what do they call that? The full Monty, whatever, when you're on every single Sunday news talk show? The full Ginsburg, I think is what it's called, for some reason. So if you're on every single Sunday talk show, and of course he didn't actually travel to every show, he sat in his office or wherever he was, and he did,
behind a green screen.
Yeah, did the satellite, and they had a kind of nondescript blue background running on the chroma key. And then he takes a call, like he doesn't know that he's on an open satellite channel, and puts it on speakerphone. And this is so orchestrated, it's not funny. Mr. Oh, yeah, well, I'm here. Yeah. It's just, he's so obvious this guy wants to be king of the world. And here's the Fox guy calling him out on it. I think they call it an extraordinary moment of, well, he says it here. It's very funny.
While you're doing a series of interviews with all of the networks, and while you were on camera and while you were on microphone, you just spoke to one of your top aides in between the interviews about the situation in Israel and the fact that 14 Israelis have either been shot or killed in an operation. We want to play a clip of that conversation because it's an extraordinary moment of diplomacy.
An extraordinary moment of diplomacy. An extraordinary moment of diplomacy. You're so awesome.
Take a look at this.
Take a look. You're so awesome.
It's a hell of a pinpoint operation.
Right. It's escalating really significantly, and it just underscores the need for ceasefire.
We've got to get over there.
Fire up the jet. Get the jet ready. We got to get over there. What are we waiting around for? Let's go.
Thank you, John.
I
think, John, we ought to go tonight. I think it's crazy to be sitting around.
Crazy to be sitting around. We got to go.
Hold on a second. Extraordinary moment of diplomacy.
Yes, citizen. Don't be alarmed. We're here on official business.
Yeah. Extraordinary moment of diplomacy.
I've never heard anything so extraordinary as that fantastic exchange. That's clip of the day.
Really?
I don't have anything that would beat that.
Yeah. Oh, screw you. I'll take it. I've been so good lately.
Clip of the day.
Extraordinary moment of diplomacy.
Now,
what's wrong with that guy?
Here's the extraordinary moment of diplomacy.
So, that is the land of unconfirmed. Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
That was diplomacy. We killed Gaddafi. Remember that? We came in there, we killed him.
Oh, yeah. That's the way you have to do it.
There's more to this clip. I don't know what I have on
Secretary Kerry, when you said it's a hell of a pinpoint operation.
And by the way, Secretary Kerry, you're just awesome. Can I just suck your left testicle for a moment? Because that was an extraordinary just display of diplomacy. It was just great. I'm just hard here.
Are you upset that the Israelis are going too far? And in fact, do you intend to go back to the Middle East tonight, sir?
I think it's very, very difficult in these situations. Obviously, very difficult, Chris.
Obviously. Very difficult. That's why I'm so awesome. You're lucky I'm on the job.
You have people who've come out of tunnels. You have a right to go in and take
bridge and tunnel people now.
Take out those tunnels. We completely support that.
Yeah.
And we support...
blah, blah, blah. It's extraordinary. extraordinary. And then Obama had to come out later and say, I asked Kerry to go. Did you catch that?
Yeah.
I don't have a clip of it, but
I didn't notice that.
No, yeah, of course.
No, but you're right.
No,
Yeah, no, it's
no.
all here. Oh,
Yeah. No, I told him to go. Damn it. He doesn't call the shots here.
Yeah, I'm the boss.
I'm the guy who.
I am the boss.
The funny thing, I was reading another article about Joe. Actually, I think it's New Yorker magazine. Let me see if I have this about Joe Biden. It's very funny. Where Joe Biden, of course, he's a punchline. You just have to say Joe Biden, people laugh, and that's kind of what they say in this article. But that his Air Force Two, the armrests are coming off, and if you want to sit in his office on Air Force Two, the one person can join him, but the next one has to sit on a box, an apple crate or something.
No, I didn't know anything about
it's I'll put it in the show.
They have
notes.
a maintenance issue? Is that what they're trying to convey?
Yeah.
It's just 777, isn't it? No, I'm sorry, no, 707. I think it is.
No, it's 757, 757.
Oh, I'm not.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to look it up.
Okay. You know how we do that? It's very simple.
Consult the book of knowledge.
I think we just say New Yorker magazine, Joe Biden. You come up with the Biden agenda. Here we go. That's the title of it. NewYorker.com. And it's taking forever to load. Here we go. I can just search.
You're right.
Of course I'm right. Here, on Easter Sunday, Biden boarded Air Force Two.
C-32.
It has jumper seats. On Easter Sunday, Biden boarded Air Force Two bound for Kyiv, the beleaguered Ukrainian capital. Compared with the commander-in-chief, the vice president flies in restrained splendor. The modified Boeing 757 was well used. An armrest came off in a passenger's hands. The vice president had a private cabin with a fold-out bed, a desk, and a guest chair. But if a second visitor arrived, a plastic cooler passed as a seat. I mean, come on.
Sounds like you're going into Tokyo for a bombing run. Shaking and baking in that thing.
I find that to be somewhat insulting to the vice president. He should have at least. I mean, Kerry's got a. What does Kerry fly?
I think he flies whatever he can get on. I don't know if he has his own jet. Maybe it's his private jet. Maybe it's a Gulfstream. We don't know. That's a good question. We have to look into this.
Secretary of State aircraft. No, because Hillary had, let's see, Air Force 3. Oh, really?
Oh, there's an Air Force 3.
It's a Boeing C-17 Globemaster. No, I think he's flying in something else. All transport heads of state. Oh, there's a wiki page on this, of course. By the way, I looked at my Wikipedia page just for yucks today. That thing is so wrong.
Your wiki page?
Oh, well, I like it. I like that it's wrong.
Oh, leave it then. Why are you complaining?
It says at one point, the judge ordered me to pay back $250 million.
Wow.
I think it was 250,000 or something, but it's 250 million. This is way back when. And
now,
helicopter
you had to make somebody change it. You had it made.
Stupid.
Anyway, so what was the $250 million for?
It was, the whole thing is ludicrous, and they didn't put in there that later the judge, the IRS had to apologize to me for being wrong, but they didn't put that in there.
So you get your $250 million back?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Yeah, you're not wearing it, that's for sure.
It's a doorstop here. I got a big clump of gold. And don't say anything funny, because it pissed me off.
I won't. That's touchy.
Yeah, United States.
The C-17 Globemaster, that's a better plane than the 757.
The president.
This is a great plane.
Yeah, the president, Secretary of State.
It's nice and big. 55 feet high and 170 feet long.
Wow.
The cavernous C-17 Globemaster is equally at home, carrying a cargo of Army vehicles, a battle tank, which would be Hillary.
In the morning.
Or a phalanx of diplomats.
John Kerry's plane. Here we go.
This was a mode of choice for Secretary of State Hillary. She's no dummy.
I have an article here, John Kerry's plane. No, it's just
they have a picture of her inside this thing. This thing is huge.
Yeah,
this looks like you're in the press briefing room. It's got 10 seats across, desks,
nice
monitors.
That's just
And then
mean.
the back of the plane, though, does look like an old C-17. That's what's so funny.
It's just mean that they give Joe the one with the arms coming off and stuff. That's not okay. I mean, we know the guy's, the booby.
I gotta say, I'm gonna send you this link to put in the show notes of Hillary's plane. I mean, it's that interesting.
Okay. But I wonder what Kerry's flying on. But the way he says it, gas it up, we got to go. Yeah,
Gas it up.
Gas it up. Get the plane ready. This is outrageous. Hell of a pinpoint operation. I'm doing some outstanding, what was it? Political diplomacy? What was the word? Oh, I've forgotten already. Okay, I have one email I need to read you. This is, hold on a second. This is, it's very interesting how this meme that we've picked up from the IRS.
I think his first name may have been Ben.
So a guy named Ben, a dude named Ben.
Dude named Ben. This is the general description for IT administrators, systems administrators, the people who actually make stuff run.
Yeah, make it actually work.
Yeah, have just been relegated down to a dude named Ben. Dude named Ben. Which, of course, is not okay. It's just not okay.
Unless you're Ben.
Well, hey there. This is not Ben. This is Hey Idiot. That's his handle. But I feel like a typical dude named Ben as I report on the further spread of the dude named Ben meme. While doing an advisory panel survey for itpro.tv, I was asked to view some marketing videos, one of which I have enclosed a clip of. I captured the audio at the beginning. The video is one of those horrible fast whiteboard drawing things, which it is, the ones that we do not like. This is Hey Idiot of Atlas McDowell, executive producer, No Agenda Show 579. Here's the marketing video.
Dude named Ben.
Oh, here it is.
This is Ben. Ben has a knack for technology and computers. He'd like to have a job.
Yeah, this is the marketing video. I love it.
This is Ben. Ben has a knack for technology and computers.
A knack.
He'd like to have a job using his skills.
Yeah.
But everywhere he applies, the door is slammed shut.
Oh, no.
To be hired, Ben needs the proven technical knowledge and certification required by reputable, high-paying companies. He is stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Dude named Ben.
The dude named Ben thing is everywhere. It's universal.
There's a funny thing going on, too, which is all these certifications and things that keep people occupied because they can't get work.
Mm-hmm.
So I ran into one at the wine store.
Oh.
Now you can get certified as a wine, kind of a wine sales guy, so you get a job at a liquor store. And it's like $2,000 to take the course on. You learn a little bit about wine, I guess, and you taste some wines and you learn about sales. And I don't know what you get out of it, to be honest, but it seems high. Yeah. I mean, seminars when I was a kid, you could take these things and they would teach you stuff, not necessarily give you a certification, just stuff you needed to learn. And it was like, it wasn't that much.
It could be an apprenticeship or all kinds of cool stuff.
There used to be all kinds of things you could do. Now it's all a jip.
Really?
Let's get the turkey stuff out of the way.
Oh, yes. Well, they just arrested another 50 cops.
Well, this will be part of Clip Turkey 1.
Okie doke.
For the last 2 days, there are about 104 or 5 police chiefs in Turkey arrested. How do you view this development?
Well, we are closely following these developments, and I understand they're related to the ongoing corruption investigations in Turkey, including the recent arrest of some 100 police officials. We have repeatedly said that any investigation should be conducted in a fair, transparent, and democratic manner. We have in the past made clear our concerns about Turkey's due process and effective access to justice, and we'll continue talking to the Turks about it.
So these arrests, those police chiefs, actually, some of them or most of them, who launched those corruption investigations. So this is kind of a 180%.
Right. I don't have any more details beyond what I just shared.
So what do you think about those corruption investigations started about 8 months ago?
As I just said, any investigation like these should be conducted in a fair, transparent, and democratic manner.
Democratic?
We continue to support the Turkish people's desire for a judicial system that meets the highest standards of fairness, timeliness, and transparency.
The guy's cleaning up.
Obviously,
That guy's
that's something
Stalin,
we
that
care very
Erdogan.
deeply about.
Shut up, slave.
So Stalin is kicking ass and arresting all the cops that started the corruption investigations. Turkey, too, I think, is a little more revealing and more interesting.
And these, of course, are the Gulenists who were...
the Gulenists.
Yeah, the guy that we're protecting, we have effectively in self-imposed
And
asylum.
well, now you said you'll make you understand clip. This will make you understand clip 2 a little better.
And the last question on Turkey about the
strategic relationship.
Yes. Yesterday, Prime Minister Erdogan expressed his disappointment that he cannot reach or he doesn't talk to President Obama anymore. Would you able to confirm that?
I didn't actually see those comments. Obviously, for the president's conversations, the White House can speak mostly or best to that. In terms of the secretary's conversations, obviously he speaks all the time with the foreign minister Davutoglu. He spoke with him twice yesterday. Spoke with him a number of times over the last few days as well. So we have an ongoing dialogue.
And Afghanistan.
Let's do Iraq and then Afghanistan.
Very quickly, the parliament failed to...
Well, as we said at the beginning, Turkey is next. And it's logical. We need to control Turkey. Look at what's going through Turkey. There's no way we can let some Yahoo run the show.
No.
He can't run that.
That's why they're not talking to him anymore. It's like, what's the point?
Well, they're not talking to him. I bet, it's funny, if you look at the map, in fact, let me look at, let's go to the map of Turkey. Okay. Are you doing this with me?
No, not yet.
Come on, I go to the map of Turkey. Okay.
Turkey.
Map of Turkey. All right. Now, just a Google map. Everybody in the chat room do this. Okay. If you actually say map of Turkey, you get a pretty nice open thing there. It's a good view. Now, let's take a look at Turkey.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm going to go down to Street View and drive around.
No, not yet. No.
To see USAC.
No, you can do that in a minute. Now, let's just look at everything around Turkey. Syria, Iraq, Georgia, Ukraine, Bulgaria, Egypt, Israel. I mean, this place is surrounded. Libya. You got the place surrounded. Greece. It's surrounded.
Yeah.
It's surrounded, and we're moving in because of it is a doorgeef land. It's a pass-through country. And we cannot have a bunch of crazy guys running that, which is why, and now he's kicking out. I'm sure that these police officers and all the so-called corruption, et cetera, I'm sure that these are the guys that we've put in place who were running, through Gulen, which is why we protect him there in Pennsylvania at his compound. Our plot is being foiled. Obama's not talking to him. Of course, Obama's not talking to anybody. But you could
talking to his caddy.
We're going to be running the gas pipelines through Georgia, and I don't know if we're going to run it into. I don't know where we should run it through Turkey probably, but we just can't have these guys running anything. They're not trustworthy. So if you and I were, let's just look at this and we'll end the show on this. If you and I were at bat here, right, and we've got these bricks. The bricks are moving in on our turf on the poppies in Afghanistan. We need to get rid of their whole idea of using whatever currency, whether it's renminbi or whether it's the SDR or euro or whatever it is. And we just really want to own everything. What would the next move be?
Well, the problem, the way I see it, is that they've got too many right now. Too many irons in the fire.
Yeah,
it's like they're trying to rebelize everything, and of course, the good way to do it, which is I think you might be hinting at with the Ukrainian situation, where they're just going to let it go fester and rebelize itself. Because if you let these things sit there, when rebelization begins, it's a form of deterioration, and it just continues and continues and continues unless somebody international forces stop it. And even when they stop it, like when we started rebelizing Libya, once we pulled out, it went back to being rebelized
it's a mess.
again. The
Yeah,
airport's all shot up, and it's a mess in Libya.
But the oil is flowing. That's the good news.
Yeah, well, they got it. They always know what to isolate, so you can get the pipelines safe and the oil fields pumping like you do in Iraq, which has got our buddies, the Kurds, who seem to be very reliable people.
Doing a great job. Their headquarters is the Turkish embassy in Mosul. Turkish, you use our apartment. Use our pied a terre.
So so that's all working out in the way it should. I don't know how you'd begin to rebel. I think they tried to do it with that first, the rise that took place, and Erdogan got, wind of it, or he did something to counteract it. I think it should have been rebelized by now. I think it's not as easy as it looks. I'm not sure we can accomplish this.
Interesting. Well, we also don't want to, cut off our nose to spite our face, because, there's very important stuff running through Turkey. And the port of Ceyhan is where we've got the
I hate to say this because it's nothing we really bring up on the show. I mean, we discuss it occasionally, and the Economic Hitman book talks about it. I think it might just take an assassination.
Ooh, red book. Yep. I think you've got a point there. Who is second in line? Second in line, Turkey. Let's see. That's not the way to do the search. Second in line.
Second in line. In the theater the other day, there was a big line.
Succession.
A second in line for my Apple iPhone.
Yeah, here we go. Turkish PM. We'll have to look at this.
Yeah, well, we can get that for the next show. We don't need
4 names for Erdogan's successor. Okay. Well, this is very interesting when you... Well, let's just do this and I'll end it. Let's just do Erdogan assassination. Erdogan assassination. Oop, I screwed that up. Hold on. Erdogan assassination. Let's see what pops up.
It has to be done by an Armenian, by the way, to make it.
Well, we have...
here's an accused Mossad assassination.
Yeah. Turkish police foil. And this is June.
The Turkish police foiled an assassination bid on Erdogan.
We didn't even hear about this. 7 arrested?
We didn't.
That's January.
2013.
May 4th, Turkish Prime Minister Erdogan safe after convoy
attack. Okay, so they're
attacked.
shooting at him already.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, good call. You got it. Nailed it. We'll take that. We just got to find out who's going to take over now.
Yeah.
And that's why he had to get rid of the cops, because the cops, of course, are letting the assassins in. Imagine being that guy.
Yeah, no. This guy doesn't look good.
It's not good at all.
The suspect was arrested. The gun was found to contain a 9mm bullet. Oh, no. It's a 9mm gun is what you're trying to say.
That's all you need. All right, everybody.
Done by snipers that could shoot at 2 miles.
One thing's for sure, you'll never hear anyone on CNN say, I think he's going assassination.
No, you won't hear that on CNN. In fact, they would fire you if you even suggested such a thing because it's rude.
You can't even suggest that the State Department acts with political motives, and you get yelled at by the elites. So take that, bro.
That could have been clip of the day, too. Bloomberg.
All right, everybody, thank you very much. Please remember us for this Sunday show. We do need all the help we can get. We're just out here trying to bring you a healthy news diet with no agenda. And coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State. In the morning, everybody, my name is Adam Curry.
And from Northern Silicon Valley, which is FEMA Region 9, the good FEMA region, I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
We believe in science.
Wow, that's a good one.
I'm Joe Biden, and thank you for taking the time to listen.
The best podcast in the universe. Dvorak.org/NA